Hello, my name is Marcus. I'm the compiler of a collection of therapy quotes entitled 1001 Windmills of the Mind. A collection of advanced self-help quotes taken from what's often called the psychodynamic or the psychoanalytic perspective, which long ago, as I understand it, was referred to by some as philosophical medicine or narrative medicine, helping one to find their narrative story, their story. A lot of our stories are unknown to us. It's located in the brain somewhere. Memories and imprints and schemas and scripts and working models created by the relationship that we have with our first primary caregiver. Okay, that story, we don't know it. In music memory, it's the unknown known, and that imprint, those imprints tell us who we are, how to live, what to think, and it becomes like a blueprint that we use for life. We see the world through that because the baby's first world was the mother, right? Creates an understanding of the world, the mother, in his memory system, and then applies that model that he creates, that stencil that he creates, and sees the world through that. That's called the interpersonal, leads to the intrapsychic, which then reveals itself or shows itself interpersonally with everyone else later on throughout life. So we want to study this blueprint, this imprint, because if it's based on a problem, if it's based on an insecure attachment style, if it's based on mother not being around or unavailable, unreliable, and the baby felt scared of her, if it's based on something like that, then that model refers to that, the original interaction. And then he takes that model and sees the world later on through that. So the baby needs a positive interaction to lay down a kind of normal imprint of I'm okay, you're okay, basically. Right? And then he goes through life with realistic, we're all members of Homo Traumacus, we're all either expressing love or crying for love, we're all cousins, we're all one family, the earth family, maybe confused, wounded, we're all members of Homo Traumacus, yeah, that's a key one. We have soul vision, because mother has soul vision for us, i.e. empathy, recognizing people and ourselves as three-dimensional. Okay? It's more than just so Janov says, keep in mind that humans have 3 brains now. Right? We grew the cortex on top of the mammal brain, and those two are a huge advancement over the previous one, the brainstem one. Okay, let me clarify something here. This is a redo, can you believe it? Of part 10 of 10 on the work of Arthur Janov. I just did like a 5-hour, very animated, I was very excited video. I was outdoors, kind of got into it. A huge disappointment because I thought it was one of my better videos. I thought it might have been fun to watch too. I was in a kind of a good mood, a lot of caffeine in me. Oh, there's the bird. I don't know if you can see him, he's just sort of sitting sort of on the fence there, just in between those trees there. Sort of on like the gate there or whatever. Yeah. You know, it doesn't look too impressive maybe. Looks like a small partridge or something, or even like a pigeon or something. When he flies, he's got these colorful black and white feathers on the underside. And it really, you can see it when he flies. Kind of cool. Okay. Another problem with this redo, with this retake, is I'm baking. You don't see it, but there's no AC here. When there's no functions, they don't have the AC on. But so you might see me sweating a bit. And another issue I had was that video. Something's going on with my phone, or it's a formatting problem, file corrupted. I downloaded all these apps to see if you can, fix the file formatting, to repair it, because it said it was recorded. It was a 20 gigabyte file. It was recorded. It says it's in the phone there, but I couldn't play it. I tried to upload it. It wouldn't upload. I tried this. I tried that. Oh my God. I really wanted to save it. It was a good video. It was part 10 of 10. It was our last video on our marathon of quotes. I really wanted to kind of do a full summary and a preview and try to share my thoughts about it. And it was a kind of exciting video. So this redo here, I just want to ease back into it. So I'm going to maybe do an abbreviated version of what I tried to do last time. I'm going to keep it under 4 hours just to be on the safe side. Because one thing, yeah, something about storage, if it's too long, sometimes the phone freaks out. But I've had videos that are 6-7 hours long that were okay. So why now would a 4-hour video be a problem? I'm not sure. So what a pity, yeah. So this is take 2. Yeah, take 2. An abbreviated, a mellower version of it, which is a pity. I can't believe it. I spent all day yesterday trying to save that file. I've asked like a dozen people. Oh my God, it just gets worse and worse. You know, you buy all these apps, they charge you, none of them work, plus you get all these ads and things, and oh my God, I got stubborn with it. So I thought, okay, calm down, Marcus, calm down, just redo it in a more mellow way, because you want to post the quotes. Yes, what I'm talking about is here, TQ2764. This is part 10 of 10 here, which I'll redo here. 2670. So we started with 2745. This one here, 2745, 9 videos ago, and this will be the 10th video here, 2764. This string of videos is a little different from the usual material that we've been doing all along for the past 3 years. So for the past 3 years roughly, we've posted here over 10,000 quotes from the psychoanalytic, psychodynamic, depth psychology, whatever you want to call it. It just means know yourself. That's all it means. It sounds exotic or something, but it just means know yourself. But a lot of us, we don't know. It's repressed. So we have a conscious side of us, a conscious self, and an unconscious self. And much of us is sort of unconscious, also known as the denied self, the repressed self, the unknown self, the secret self, the second self, the second self, the secret self, the shadow self, the shadow soul. It's the one who walks with me, who's not like me, who is me. Someone's living my life, I know nothing about him. In literature, it's the motif of the double character. So a literature novelist person, an interpretive literature novelist person would create a story and in the story the protagonist meets another character. But that other character is him, but the protagonist doesn't know it's him. And that other character is his double self, meaning a fantasized personification of a character that represents, embodies, demonstrates, shows everything about the first person that he doesn't know. And the therapy idea is, well, he dialogues with that character, because it's himself. Right? And then he learns about himself, he reintegrates, reclaims, reaccepts. Then that's healing and wholeness. So you want to be more whole, synonymous with healing. But there's the famous, many ways, a lot of people describe it as a kind of split, right? Your unknown self and your conscious self. A quick visual, yeah, too bad I don't have a laptop here. A quick image, look up Roy Lichtenstein's animated painting called Stepping Out. You can see sort of the split, what they mean by that. So on the right side of the painting, you see the guy there, and he looks kind of bland and bored and all this, because he's so much of who he's meant to be. Had he been loved, his feelings got lost in trauma, his identity, his sense of self got lost in trauma. So on the other side of the painting was this powerful, energized, vibrant kind of character. And you can see, and there was like a line there, and like a kind of a gap like that. So he didn't know his second self. That's considered neurosis, or that's considered pain, because you want to be connected to yourself. Then you feel, I feel that for I am. That's normal, natural life. Karen Horney, one of our mentors, says, we live to the extent that we feel. And it's funny about this venue. I'm back here because I wanted to quickly do this retake here. But this is the place that's so, it's a little edgier, this hotel here. It's nice, a beautiful little place. I love it. It's just so small and it's popular. And I guess they got things a little more, like everyone, a little more careful there or something. So yeah, I hope the guard. I've got a general understanding that if the venue, if it's not being used, they're okay with me. But sometimes the guard comes along and doesn't know it. What are you doing here? Are you a guest here? And all this. Well, the front desk kind of gave me a general okay, So let's see how it goes here. I don't really come here anymore, I'll tell you the truth. But I didn't want to spend an hour to go to my usual venues to do this video. I wanted to get this video out. I felt so... John F. would say, yeah, well, you're looking for love. You wanted to be heard. And you spent 5 hours fully, and you gave a lot of your feelings and all this, and no one was there. The video didn't record it. You couldn't upload it, couldn't share it. So he would interpret that maybe as you wanted to be seen, you wanted to be heard. Well, that's symbolic of the audience looking at you. Well, that's symbolic of Mother looking at you, which you didn't get. So maybe I was triggered a little bit, thinking, gee, the audience, my imaginary audience can't see me, or future viewers of the video couldn't see it. Well, that triggers, if you stay with that feeling, who didn't see you in the past? So it always triggers backwards like that. So when you're triggered in the present, stay with the feeling and trace it and go back a little bit to who really didn't see you, or who really didn't love you or meet your needs, etc. So people in things in the present don't cause that immense pain, right? But they trigger the past pain. That's the idea, right? So we've talked about this point a few times already here. Okay, so the 10,000 quotes that we have in our collection are mainly object relations theory, developmental theory, repetition compulsion, projection, reaction formation, projective identification, the issue of symbiosis, negative magic gesture, identification with the aggressor is a key one, various personality patterns based on where the trauma takes place between birth and 3. If it's earlier on, you have certain personality patterns. If it's sort of midway, again, certain personality patterns. If it's like between 18 months and 36 months, different personality pattern. Just a theory like that. So the critical period is between birth and 3, right? And if the earlier the trauma, the more the pain, the personality structure around it will be different from children who are traumatized a little later on, who got some needs met. So their personalities might not be so maybe aggressive or something, like the pleasers and the clingers. But trauma before 18 months, they may be more narcissistic or the bully pattern like that. So we talk a lot about this thing called developmental theory, object relations theory. So it's trying to make the unconscious conscious. When something that's unknown to us comes to consciousness, the image is Hermes flies across, or a bird flies across. Birds are symbols for unconscious knowings. So if it's coming to us and we see the bird, and the bird maybe has a message in its beak, and you read the message, or Hermes delivers the message to you, that means you're getting something to your consciousness, right? So similar to the Phantom of the Opera, the singer went to the basement. Okay, metaphor for the unconscious. The scary dude is not a separate outer character. It's a double motif. That phantom guy with the mask and all that, he's just a personification of the person's own trauma, shame, pain, rage, knowledge, and all this. Right? And the singer dialogues with herself. That's herself. They're both part of one mind, right? So as she got to know and befriend herself, she claimed more of herself. So she had more self. That means sense of self. Then you got more feelings. Then when she went back on stage, the consciousness, she was a better singer because she was more embodied, kind of thing. So in trauma, we lose that sense of embodiment. Okay, but the phantom guy knows all about that. Loss of feelings, the phantom guy knows all about that. It's recorded there in the unconscious mind, or the repressed mind, etc. Bergler calls it a puppet master, you know, emphasizing the real power that's taking place. Like the iceberg metaphor, we think we're making all these choices. Really, we're just in pursuit of symbolic love, because we didn't get the original love. So the puppet master is getting us to look for that love that was missing, with the grand fantasy that maybe by magic something in the present can zoom us back in a time machine, get the love that was needed, and we'd be okay, because the puppet master doesn't understand time. That's the issue. The unconscious, the early part of the brain doesn't know time. Oops, hi there. Oh, he didn't kick me out. That's okay. Okay. I'm remembering the last time I was here. I was on the 6th floor. I think I got a little awkward there. So I haven't been here in a couple of weeks. So we'll see how it goes here. Or if the guests leave at the restaurant where I bought the coffee, right? So there's a coffee shop on the ground floor, but it's packed in there. If a little later on they leave, I'll go back and speak in the restaurant. But and then I can vacate this sauna here. Oh, I had such a good time with that last video. I was outdoors. I could walk around a bit. Yeah, that was a fun video. I thought, gosh, and I look forward to posting that one. I thought this was one of the funnest videos I've had. I couldn't believe it. How the hell did it not? How in the heck did it not? How fill in the blank? Don't usually swear. I guess I was that swearing means you're angry, right? I thought it was like one of my best works, one of my best videos. So that's why I spent like a whole day yesterday just trying to save it, asking for help. Can we save this, please? It was like almost 5 hours, and I was speaking quickly and smoothly. Things were a little spontaneous, little things were taking place. It was fun, yeah. And that doesn't happen too often when I kind of get into a flow like that, because there weren't many interruptions. It was nice. I was usually in doing these things in public, there's like a dozen interruptions. Like it takes time to get back. Oh, let me back up. Let me do something basic here. I haven't been analyzed. So in case you're wondering, in case you're curious, who is this guy? Well, I only have a BA. I haven't been analyzed. I'm the compiler of the quotes. I'm trying to learn this perspective, this so-called psychoanalytic perspective. I'm not a professor, social worker, doctor, scientist, researcher, midwife, doula, nutritionist. I only have a BA. I was trying to learn this, but no one's really teaching it. So someone said, "Well, if you want to learn something, we'll teach you." What do you mean? It doesn't make sense. How can I teach it if I don't know it? Well, that's how you learn it. Just try to teach. So I'm in the middle there. I'm finding quotes, sharing it, and sure enough, I am kind of learning it as I share and discuss it. So my give back is that if you click the more link for each video, you'll see the quotes posted below. Roughly 10 quotes in each video on average, which fits Robert Bly's advice to read psychology every day for 10 minutes. So there's roughly 10 minutes worth in each video. And my sincere hope is that 1 out of the 10 quotes will be of interest. That's what I'm really aiming for. If 1 out of 10 you're like, oh, I'm thrilled, I feel delighted, I feel warm, I feel my heart opens up. Like I feel I connected with somebody, or I feel like a little moment of love or something. If 1 out of 10, if you can feel 1 out of 10 of these quotes, and we have 1,000 videos, so if you get 1 for each of the videos on average, in effect, one can have their own customized 1001 windmills of the mind. You know, that's a good starting point. It's not the answer and all that. And that's just part A. Part A is to fix the scarecrow, strengthen the ego. So the scarecrow in the Wizard of Oz is an image of the submerged ego in the unconscious. Okay, that other world, the unconscious, down the rabbit hole, or down the tunnel, whatever, to this magical other world, right? That's a metaphor of the unconscious. So who do we see there? The scarecrow. And he's all frazzled up. Okay, that's a metaphor for the ego didn't get firm. He's kind of doesn't know. Remember, once the brain doesn't know things. So the child can't know things. So in trauma, we don't really know what's going on, right? Okay, enter Emily Dickinson's poem. The baby had a great hope to get his needs met with his mother. The baby had a great hope for a secure attachment style. Mother's attunement, mother's reverie, mother's soothing, mother's presence, mother interaction with the mother, a positive maternal experience, a maternal holding environment, skin-to-skin contact, natural breastfeeding, mother's loving eye gaze, and all that. Baby had a great hope for a secure attachment style. Okay, so in the beginning, it's for this extended paradise. Baby had a great hope to bond securely, normally with the mother. He had a great hope for this. It fell. In trauma, that falls. He had a great hope, fell. You heard no noise. The wreckage was within. The trauma, the wreckage was within. O cunning tale that let no witness in. O cunning tale. So this is why we got to be a detective here. There's a cunning tale here. Why didn't the mother meet the baby's needs? Why was she misattuned, malattuned? Why did she gaslight the baby? For example, did she, feel resentful at the idea of being a mother because she didn't get her needs met when she was a child? And she's supposed to give when she never received? Or Is she thinking that she's going to use the child to comfort her? Oh, cunning tale. Now the child can't know all this kind of thing. Too much pain, he can't know it. That's the scarecrow. So one way to describe these quotes is we want to give the scarecrow a brain. So we want to strengthen the ego. So these 10,000 quotes are an attempt to kind of firm up the ego. So these are constructs, theories, ballpark approximations, hypotheses, prompts to free associate with, stepping stones, maybe some like little clues, put it together, maybe the two of them lead to a better clue. You know, these are like trying to be a detective here, our own psychological Columbo, our own existential detective, psychological, emotional detective, right? Narrative medicine practitioner, know thyself detective. So another image for strengthening our awareness is psychoanalysis looks for an egg in a basket that's missing. Oh, sorry, I can see the people passing by all the time behind me. Yeah, today I'm having a little bit of an off day. I'm not going to speak as excitedly and as smoothly as I did last time. I was in that odd, rare, happy mood. I was laughing a fair bit, like I was in a good mood. I don't know what it was, just a combination of outdoors. It was a summer breeze. I got a good start, I got my guava juice. What spinach is for Popeye, guava juice is for me. Yeah. Well, I don't have the container, but let's see. I put in a little tea thing here. Well, it's not the container, but yeah, there it is. The guava juice is frozen there, so I can cool off a bit. So guava juice, green guava juice, is my is sort of a companion beverage here. So I had my guava juice, one coffee, summer breeze, a little spacious around me, little birds here and there, no interruptions, and I got into a flow. It was a fun video. Yeah. Gone forever. I downloaded like 3 or 4 of those so-called services that can dig up your lost files and all this, or repair your, reformat your files. Nothing even gave me, none of them worked. Plus I got all these bills. Oh yeah, oh thank you for your purchase, thank you for your purchase. Oh Jesus Christ. And now I'm in this panic. Don't charge me like automatically every month or something, like some kind of ongoing fee. I gotta unsubscribe or cancel these kind of, and you gotta Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's the most drama I've had around the lost video so far. Yeah, on occasion that happens. On occasion videos get lost, yeah. But overall, there's been some excellent videos. Okay, enough about that. So let's go back for a second. Psychoanalysis looks for an egg in a basket that's missing. Okay, so just as a bird, makes a nest, then there could be an egg. Well, we need a level of awareness. Then maybe feelings can come in. The potential is in the egg, the feelings, right? The new life, the potential, the feelings. So in the egg, sometimes one image is the firebird is in the egg. In one fairy tale, the firebird hatches out or lands, and the protagonist rides the back and rides the firebird up from the unconscious to your conscious. Okay, from the underworld to the land, right? And you're riding the firebird. That's a metaphor for emotional knowing. Now you're getting back into your body. Now you're getting your sense of self. And I feel, therefore I am this. So I feel, therefore I am. It's linked like that. Your embodiment and your feelings. Okay. So in trauma, that gets all squelched, lost in the forest. Okay. Sometimes the baby's exiled, orphaned into another land, right? Or so a great hope fell. You heard no noise. The wreckage was within. Another way to describe this wreckage or trauma. So the wreckage is attachment trauma. The baby has to attach to his mother, a secure, normal, secure attachment. If he doesn't get a secure attachment style, that's the wreckage within. He attaches in some kind of convoluted, very painful way, where he's got to imitate her and save her, and can't know himself. He's angry all the time, never got her love, and searching for symbolic love, and then communicates it by treating others the way he was treated. So it's such a mess, right? So that's an insecure attachment style. That's the wreckage within. So the wreckage within can be described in several ways in myths and fairy tales. So myths and fairy tales are very helpful as metaphors for psychology, right? So sometimes the baby's lost in the forest, in another land, right down a river, baby put on a boat, down a river to another land, right? The other land is the other world, you mean the unconscious. So it's exiled, lost. So our pureness, our innocence that didn't develop from that point is lost in the forest. So the forest is a symbol for the unconscious. And it's dark, we don't see it, where is it? It's like, I've got to go find it kind of thing. Another one is our embodiment, our sense of authentic core. Okay, like our core, like our authentic core. Authentic, the word of the year for 2023 from the Merriam-Webster Dictionary Company was authentic. So the baby has an authentic core. So another way to describe attachment trauma is that the earth opens up and Miss Core, in the Greek myth, Miss Core gets yanked down into the underworld. Right? Earth opens up, okay, the guy with the horns pulls down that innocent maiden into the underworld. That's quite a powerful image for trauma. Okay, so earth opens up and it goes down. Okay, so the person's authenticness, authentic core gets pressed down. The idea of down means, number one, unconscious. Now it's unknown. Now you don't see it. And also it goes into the brain stem. So you got the cortex, the human cortex, the mammal brain, and the limbic system, and then the cortex, like the mammal brain, let's say, and the brain stem area. So it gets pressed down into the brain stem. It goes pressed down like that in the early primitive part of the brain, right? The so-called lizard brain or crocodile brain, like the earliest part of the brain. So we all know about we've all probably have heard about the triune brain. That the brain has three parts. Janov simplifies it by saying, yeah, we all have three brains. We all have three brains. The brain stem part, okay, and then the mammal brain part. And then the cortex that we developed roughly 150,000 years ago, we grew the cortex. So the cortex brain, the whole mammal mind brain, and then prior to the mammal was that old salamander, crocodile, that whole lizard, that kind of brain, like the brain stem and the spine. That first brain, that primitive brain, only cares. It only cares about survival and reproduction. That part. And that's been around that's from billions of years ago, right? And then over evolution, we grew the mammal brain, right? The monkey brain. Usually people call it the puppy brain or the mammal or the monkey brain, something like that. Or pick in your favorite animal, right? The elephant brain or any kind of mammal that you like. So we got the mammal brain, right? Oh yeah, today he talked about the prairie wolves, how affectionate they are, and they mate for life and all this. They have a lot of oxytocin or something. Oh yeah, Janov was saying in his book, I just read this just before coming out, yeah, Janov, I don't know if he was joking or something, but maybe it was a little making a point. He was just making a point. He didn't mean it literally, but he was making the point about some experimenter took from the oxytocin that's found in the prairie voles. The prairie, they live in the hole, but they pop up, but they only have one mate, and they mate for life, and they're very loving and affectionate, they say. So some researcher took the vasopressin, I think it was, like the oxytocin, the love bonding hormone that they have in there. They took it out or something, and then injected it into some abused, traumatized, unloved, removed from their mother rats, right? So they took some rats, separated from the mother. He was abused, he was upset, all stressed out, couldn't relate, couldn't be friendly with the other rats or something. Then the experimenter injected the vasopressin or the oxytocin or the love bonding hormone that they got from the prairie vole. Prairie vole, is that right? V-O-L-E? Prairie something, prairie vole, I think. They look like little, they're cute little guys, right? They look like, I don't know, they look like, what do they look like? Oh, you can look it up on YouTube, right? on the prairie field. They look like little, kind of like puppies, I guess, in a way, right? Like long, thin puppies or something. No, that's not right. Hang on. Not beaver, not like a beaver. No. They're kind of have a long, like they can stand vertically on their hind legs, and they look kind of cute, I guess. maybe 2 feet high. But they're famous for being loyal, loving mates to their one partner for life. They mate for life kind of thing. So the experiment took the hormones from them, put it into these traumatized, like the previously already traumatized rats. Right? Those traumatized rats who were cold and aggressive and couldn't trust anyone, or fighting all the time, angry all the time, suddenly, they were friendly and they were nice to each other and all this. So we joked, geez, we got to research. We got to give this to some people or something. Put it in the air or something. He was joking. He was just trying to make the point about the importance of oxytocin, like the love bonding hormone that's natural. Because he was saying in his book called Biology of Love that when babies are breastfeeding, yeah, it's natural, right? But if that's missing, there's a deficit there. And if that if that baby's a girl and that deficit's there, she may have a set point in her brain of not getting that oxytocin from the breastfeeding if she was bottle fed. Then when that woman when she grows up to become a mother herself, she may have a harder time producing and lactating for the baby. That was one of his points or something like that. So a huge emphasis about the importance of breastfeeding. We did it. It's in one of our quotes here from this, for the past 9 videos here about the importance of breastfeeding here. Hang on. Yeah, is that the one? No. Oh, it's in here somewhere. I'm not really. Oh, here it is. Breastfeeding, an absolute essential for a healthy child. If we don't get it when we need it, we can spend a lifetime looking for symbols of mother's loves in a vain attempt at unconscious fulfillment. Yeah. That's one of Janop's emphasis here in his books. The constant search for a symbol of mother's love. Right? So the idea about this is that it gets transferred from the brainstem. Now the mammal brain's traumatized, right? The important feeling side, I feel our foraminus, our sense of self, our feelings, that's the mammal side of us, right? That's all frozen up. Oh yes, another images for this trauma is Earth opens up and this core gets pulled down. So it's lost down there, right? Now, the pulling is the repression part, the force of it getting down. He can't have it present, too painful, so it's like put it into storage or something, put it into a hidden place kind of thing. Now the baby feels shame by this. That's an immense shame for the mother not to meet the baby's needs. So the underworld is the hell imagery. That's a metaphor for the emotion of shame. Myths and fairy tales are metaphors for psychology. So hell is a metaphor for the emotion of shame. So the baby feels very shamed when the mother doesn't meet the baby's needs. So the backdrop is shame like this, all this fiery. Now shame and rage kind of link like this. So the baby's enraged at the mother, but he can't know that's too much excitation for him to feel his rage. So he'll project his rage onto the image of the mother and creates the mother as an enraged entity. So what's the mother? The breast mother. So the baby imagines the breast mother as some enlarged, powerful, angry creature. And maybe the baby's rage looks at mother's eyes and thinks the mother hates him. And then maybe flames from mother's eyes blends it in with the breast image and creates the guy with the horns. One possible theory about this. So that's the guy with the horns pulled down, okay, the core. So that's a metaphor. When the baby's needs don't get met, okay, the baby thought his mother is a dangerous creature, and because of that, he felt shamed, and it got put down like this, right? Another metaphor for attachment trauma, relational trauma, interpersonal trauma, commonly known as arrested development, developmental arrest, stunted development, okay, or a fixation, like at the rejection level of some point, is that the embodiment, the body, right, the mammal, the embodiment gets frozen. So one image is the frozen woolly mammoth in that block of ice up in Siberia. Gosh, I hope this video I can upload. Jesus Christ. Although this is a mellower video, I hope this can upload. I'm going to keep this under 4 hours to increase my chances of this getting uploaded. Because maybe it was a factor of the video. Sometimes my camera does a funny thing. Sometimes it goes directly to the memory chip and not to the internal storage. Sometimes they make a double copy, one in the memory chip and a duplicate in the internal storage. This time there was no internal storage, but only the memory chip. So I thought, okay, why is that happening? But the internal storage can only hold like up to 4 hours maximum, right? So I don't get my phone. I've had this phone for a while. A nice, excellent phone, like an older budget phone. I got secondhand a long time ago. It's been working pretty well overall. But once in a while, it tries. All right. 1 second. Let me get back on track. I'm still processing the pain. So Jennifer says, "Oh, did you feel pain by the loss of your video? Stay with the pain, and who gave you that pain in the past? And see if you can step back a little bit and see if you can metabolize it like that. And then, of course, you're going to stop when there's too much pain, right?" I'll talk about that point a little bit later. So another image for our mammal self, our ontological self, our sense of self, our psychological self, I feel that for animal self, this whole mammal self, right, this like body, like a mammal, right? This whole, it can get frozen. Okay, Jeanette Paris calls it emotional hypothermia, like emotional coma, emotional catatonia. Okay, so that's the whole freezing effect. So in a myth or fairy tale, if a character becomes frozen, it represents that, right? Now, similar to the frozen image, a variation of it is petrification. The child was scared stiff, so everything froze up like that, like the petrified frog image in the sitcom The Many Loves of Dobie Gillis, where one of the characters in that sitcom had this strange hobby of collecting petrified frogs, as if to say, I feel like this. A third common image for attachment trauma is when a character turns to stone, similar to the ice one. So the feelings can't flow, no juices, things kind of dry out, turn to stone. So echo in the narcissist myth becomes a statue. That's one of the greatest, most underappreciated points there is. One of the most important points about that myth is that Echo becomes a statue. Now, Echo and Narcissus are not separate characters in some kind of outer story of some kind. They're metaphors of the traumatized psyche of a person. They're metaphors of one person's traumatized mind. Those two aspects are aspects of one person. Think of it like a dream, different dream sequences. They're still from one mind. So Echo and Narcissus belongs to one mind. They're not a separate character. Okay. Yes, sometimes people can make the point about relationships and Narcissus can't relate to others. But the deeper issue in terms of in terms of trauma is that Echo becomes turns to a statue. That means the person with that mind felt emotionally, it's like a statue. Echo becomes a statue. This takes place when the baby's needs don't get met, and the baby's stuck in the archaic, old, blissful oneness feeling that he had in the uterus, where it was all about him. Hence the image of Narcissus looking into the pool of water, sees a reflection of himself, he's transfixed, thinks everything's him, everything's only about him, and he ignores his feelings, right? His feelings, like his inner life, right? So disassociated like that, Echo disassociated, is repressed, and you can't fly. Stress response, like flight from mind, either it's repressed and then disassociated, or never really enters in and disassociates. Whatever it is, his soul is kind of flying off like that. The person's soul is flying off like that. So, but inwardly, he feels like a statue. Emotionally, he feels like a statue. So it is actually, come to think of it, is within. But the storytellers made it out like that because disassociation is also involved. But it is still, it's repressed and disassociated, so they're both going on. So it is within, and we could just see it outside as like a ghost of the within. So Echo might be like an artistic ghost image of the repression of within, the soul within him. So we saw the freezing of Echo outwardly, the freezing inwardly. Yeah. Okay, so all this point about narcissism, right? So all babies in the uterus are in this blissful oneness with everything. They think it's all only them in there. Everything is them, the mother's them, they're everything. So normal development that gets resolved by the age of 18 months. But if the child's not loved, he's stuck there. If he's stuck there, that means he didn't get his needs met, his soul, he freezes up inside, he turns to stone inside. So the end result is that image, narcissist transfixed with that little flower, with his image like that. He's stuck at that place, that archaic place where he's on the throne. It's all about him, love with himself, right? It means he's in this blissful oneness with the mother, but the mother's him. He doesn't know there's a mother. He just thinks the mother's him. He's in love with himself kind of thing, right? Now at the end of the story, that character turns into a little white flower. That little white flower, called the narcissus flower, okay? There's an image of that little white flower on the front cover of Alexander Lowen's book called Narcissism. Or you can just look it up online kind of thing, just a little white flower. So the Greek storytellers say that little white flower called narcissism was named narcissism from the root of narke, because that flower prepared in a certain way gives people illusions or something like narcotic. Narcotic. So the narcissism is not addictive like that because the baby's in a blissful oneness. Now, when the baby's in an ecstatic, blissful oneness, excited, blissful, powerful, happy feeling, one with the great, powerful Mr. Unico Mystica, you know, it's that feeling when you get an echo of it when in romance, when people fall in love, they get this blissful kind of feeling, right? The two are one like that. Baby's one with the mother. But the baby's not addicted. He's just in a natural developing place like that. It'll all get resolved normally. But if it doesn't get resolved, the person's stuck there, then he's addicted, right? So they named it after that little white flower that gives people illusions. So a person with a narcissistic personality pattern, i.e. never got enough love to know himself, is still stuck with that archaic image that he's on the throne, little God, all about him, doesn't care about others, no empathy for others, doesn't see others, soul blind to others, because mother was soul blind to him. So he's sort of stuck in the original image that in uterus it was all about him, you know? And then, so that's the little white flower. So the image is, you see the little white flower and little Echo, the fairy, beautiful fairy lady image, right? She's a statue, frozen. So that's two elements of one mind, of a person. That's two metaphors of, those two images are metaphors of two psychological elements belonging to the mind of one traumatized person. So Echo and Narcissus are like two elements like from the dream world that belong to one mind. Okay? So meaning his soul is turned to stone. Okay? That means petrified, frozen, right? Turned to stone is a common one. Another common one, feeling unreal. So another metaphor for attachment trauma is that the person feels unreal. So the famous story, Velveteen Rabbit's pretty good for this. Remember the stuffed rabbit kept saying, gee, what does it mean to be real? I want to be real. I really want to be. So that's a metaphor that we may feel like that Velveteen Rabbit's cry. What does it mean to feel real? I want to feel real. Likewise, the carpenter guy who took that block of wood and carved out a little boy there out of wood and was praying and praying, oh, please let this toy boy come to life. Again, a metaphor that we don't feel like alive. Joseph Campbell said, yeah, that's the whole hero's journey. That's what we're searching for in the midlife audit, the midlife examination period, called the hero's journey, to feel real and alive. Not adrenaline rush, not sadism and the excitement of the dopamine chase, not these kind of chemistry kind of things. I mean, your embodiment, you want to feel your embody like the mammal, you want to feel your mammal, like you want to feel your monkey within. Like, I mean, you want to feel like the humming within of a kitten, like you want to feel your embodiment. And then when the body is alive, the feelings kind of, the golden ball is there, like the vibrancy of the sun. And when you have that aliveness, now there's another clue of the difference. Feeling real and alive means you have a wide range of feelings, needed feelings, appropriate feelings, aliveness of affect. So joy runs the console, so the main emotion is pleasure. The main animating emotion that drives a person is pleasure. That's the natural state of affairs. I feel, therefore I am. The feel is mainly pleasure. Because when you have your sense of self, You know your uniqueness, which you express. There's pleasure, there's loving life. That's a path with heart. Okay, now remember the Tin Man doesn't have that, right? So in normal development, the child has that path with heart, and joy runs the console. Disney film inside out, joy runs the console. But in the Disney film inside out, joy and sadness was zooped away. So that's yet another image of trauma. Joy and sadness in the Disney film inside out got zooped away, just like Miss Core got pulled down into the other world. The baby gets sent away, or turned to, or petrification, freezing. Okay. Now the jargon for these things is alexithymia, no words for feelings. You don't want to know your feelings, because if you know your feelings, you got to link it to your unmet needs. So F and N, feelings and needs are linked. Okay, back up a sec. When needs are met, we feel pleasant. F and N, feelings and needs. When needs are unmet, we feel distressed. Feelings and needs. Okay, back to the present. So, joy and sadness got zooped away because the need for secure attachment style wasn't met. So the needs were met. So the quote-unquote more human side of being human, the mammal feeling range, right? Empathy, the prairie wolf feeling range, right? Love and affection, tenderness, kindness, play, spontaneity, affect, pleasure, relaxed, easygoing, play, you know, just the more natural, the way two puppies play a little bit, just the more natural mammal relating, right? So in the Disney film, joy and sadness got zooped away in trauma, right? Because the needs were met. Then what was left? The limbic system area, the stress response, fear, anger, and disgust. Disgust was mainly about distaste and dissmell, so like physiological area, because that part of the brain, you know, smells and tastes is part of it's the part about survival, right? So that Disney film, Inside Out, is pretty good. They show you the two groupings of feelings that we have. Our main feelings, our mainstream feelings, our main embodied human feelings represented by joy and sadness, and the whole range is there. Like soul vision and kindness and gratitude's a big one in there. Reparation, you feel badly if you hurt someone you love, or there's a mistake you want to make it right. Or humor, family, or loving, we're all one big loving family, confused but still loving. Right? That's the whole normal kind of state of affair. But that got zooped away. What are we left with? Now we're back to the brainstem. Okay, now we're back to the reptile area, right? The salamander area, just survival, reproduction. So it's just a stress response. Now fear easily gets overwhelmed, right? So the baby, when he's trying to nurse, if he's in a uterus or a bird trying to nurse, he can't really go anywhere if the mother's hurting him. He can't flee, he can't flight, he can't go anywhere, he can't pick up the phone, he can't ask for help or something, right? There's no friend nearby with a revving up an engine. He can't even crawl into it or something. No one's going to pick him up and help him. He can't go anywhere. He can't run. Yeah, that's why that in Route 66, that image, that episode, if you go to TQ 2599, we have some quotes from the classic TV show Route 66. The first one there, the episode about the woman with the mask on. Watch that episode. There's a very touching scene where she confronts the abusive mother. But this time she could flee, and again, they revved the engine, and now she could flee. But as a baby, she couldn't flee. So there was like a touching moment there, because as a baby, we couldn't flee, right? But now as an adult, we can flee. So she ran away from the abusive mother and all this, right? Anyways, the baby can't flee. So he's kind of cornered, so to speak, so now he entered into the anger area. So anger is sort of the main emotion. It's not even like an emotion, it's like a physiological thing. Some people don't even call fear and anger like emotions. It's just because the reptile doesn't feel, right? It just has stress response. Yes, we call it an emotion, but the more human emotion is that whole spectrum of joy to sadness and all the nuances and variations and hundreds of feelings in that joy to sadness spectrum. Okay? So pleasure can take a variety of, playful curiosity, interest, delightful this and what's that, and wonderment there and pleasure there. Wow, that's amazing. So that's like in the human mammal area, but people are. It's a question of terminology. So the fear and anger area, we still call them emotions, but they're more about the sensational kind of on the sensational side of the brainstem, where it's just about survival. And do we call that really like in the mammal side. So there's a difference there between the mammal emotions and the reptile emotions, if I put it that way, right? He calls it the salamander emotions. Oh, he doesn't call it the salamander. He calls that first brain the salamander brain. He said that he said that his friend told him that the best image for the brainstem is the salamander, because the salamander functions in a very similar way to the human brainstem and limbic system and the spine and the brainstem. He's not saying we evolved from that. We're just saying we all have that old archaic first brain, right? So evolution, in the beginning, that was the first brain, right? And then later on the mammal brain, and then 150,000 years ago, right? The one hominid that survived was Homo bodoensis, us, an early version of us called Homo bodoensis, one theory, right? And then when we as Homo bodoensis evolved the cortex, that's like the thinking cap, so-called thinking cap. Now you put it all together, the three of them, the three brains, there's got to be like a line there. It's got to be like a corpus callosum kind of thing. So the first two parts called the limbic system, and the cortex is the most recent brain, right? So now there's got to be, so now we're into the right brain, left brain. So right brain is the limbic, the first two brains, and the left brain is mainly the new brain, huh? Old brain, new brain, or something. And it's meant to be a kind of a so-called highway between the two, corpus callosum. Somebody jokes that, yeah, women have a smooth superhighway. They know what they feel. They're very in touch with themselves and all. Men have a broken dirt road. It's very hard to know. But in trauma, that gets damaged. Now, if that dirt road gets damaged, and that gets damaged because the mammal, because frozen, petrification, unreal, numb, alexithymia. Another jargon is alexithymia. Oh, hold on a second. Well, that's the guy that checked the room here. Oh, he's just sort of like a staff security guy or something. Well, that's a good sign. He didn't kick me out. Okay. Nice little room, you know. If it's usually taken, but today's a Tuesday, early afternoon. So I thought I'm at 3:10. There's a clock there, yeah, 3:10. Oh, there's the guy there. He's putting some traffic cones in front of me for the cars. Okay. I get easily distracted. Yeah, sorry about that. But yeah, it's nice little room. Usually it's occupied or locked. Hold on a second. Let me just take a little 10-second break here. Hold on a second. Yeah, my guava is still frozen. My guava, my spinach is frozen. I haven't, all this time, nobody knows, I have a frozen guava, I cool off, I let it, and then I drink it. So the jargon is alexithymia, no words for feelings, because if you to admit a feeling, you got to admit the underlying need that wasn't met. Now, if the need's not met, okay, there's your anger. Well, there's your pain and anger, right? So that's pain leads to the anger. So unmet need, in general, unmet need, primal need leads to primal pain. And there's your anger, comes from that pain. So the pain leads to the anger, and fear gets overwhelmed. So anger is mainly sort of the main, so anger runs the console when there's trauma, right? So people are traumatized. So people with the narcissistic pattern, the bully pattern, Iago personality pattern, all the criminality, they're kind of angry-based characters, right? Curmudgeons, all the curmudgeons and grumpy characters and Scrooges and all these kind of characters, kind of constant. You're always on eggshells around them. They got PTSD. They're angry. They're in a hypervigilant stress response, right? Janov says that a lot of babies are born with PTSD. Can you believe it? A lot of babies are born with PTSD. If the mother drinks too much, smokes too much, argues too much caffeine, or too bad mood or upset, the child can be born with PTSD. If the mother goes to a heavy metal concert when she's pregnant, And John says, yeah, don't buy this theory about the placenta barrier protecting the baby from what's going on with the mother. Most or much, he thinks pretty much all of it, pretty much affects the baby. Yeah? So if for example, the mother's smoking, let's say it's 5 minutes, that's 5 minutes of hell for the baby, not getting enough oxygen. And when the mother's smoking, John says, or he quotes somebody who says that the vein in the cord constricts, the baby's not getting enough oxygen, he's suffocating. He may constrict his bronchioles, he's in a panic, he's in hell. Plus the oxygen that's within the mother that should get sent to the baby now is diverted to deal with the nicotine and the tar for the mother. Let's see if we can find that when you're about the cigarette. Let's see. Okay, hold on. I think it was one of the older ones. Yeah, see, he's not a fan of coffee either. Even with coffee, if a carrying mother drinks 4 to 5 cups of coffee over several days during the critical period of synaptogenesis in the unborn child, the possibility is there for an imprint which will change the set points of a baby for a lifetime. So he's revved up already. He's already kind of like in a hyper-stressed mode already. That's basically PTSD. Where's that? Yeah, here's the one about the tobacco. The unborn child must receive all of their nutrients and all their oxygen from the mother's bloodstream through the placenta. Right, the center vein. So remember the umbilical cord has 3 veins. The center one sends down the oxygen and nutrients, etc. What this means to the unborn baby of a smoking mother is 5 minutes of suffocation and poisoning each time the mother smokes a cigarette. Can you believe it? The mother takes a 5-minute cigarette break and the baby inside is suffocating, being poisoned. Tobacco robs the blood of oxygen so that the mother's blood is forced to take up the gases in the tobacco at the expense of needed oxygen for the baby. Plus, tobacco constricts the size of the mother's blood vessels so that they carry less blood. And there's one about that's one of the one drumbeat of Janoff in his 15 or 16 book. I'm not sure how many books he had. I think 15 or 16 books or something like that. That's sort of like the constant drumbeat throughout all of his books is mothers have to give paradise for their babies. Relaxed, let the baby feel oceanic feeling, let them feel safe. Do everything she can to be in a good mood. Let the baby feel relaxed and have his paradise. The baby's meant to have Garden of Eden, Shambhala, Shangri-La, okay, Nirvana, Avalon, all these paradise, the Garden of Eden. Baby's meant to have that. The mother's arguing, going to heavy metal concert. If the baby's stressed out and he's kicking the cord, he's not getting enough oxygen. So the mother's failing the baby already. The greatest hurt of all. The greatest hurt of all. Mother failed me. If the mother can't even give the baby his natural paradise, Jesus Christ, baby's given a paradise by nature in the body, and the mother's gonna damage that. Jeez, she's really in a bad mood if she can't offer that basic paradise. Now, it might not be her fault. The environment might be causing problems, or maybe she's maybe a variety of factors involved. But anyways, Janoff is saying in terms of preventative medicine, let mothers be aware that what's going on with them is affecting the baby. Okay? Now, all the more reason to hand the baby to the mother directly. Leave the cord, leave the placenta. The cord's still pulsating. The cord and the placenta belong to the baby. The cord's still sending oxygen to the baby. Leave the cord, leave the placenta, and hand the baby directly to the mother. And skin-to-skin contact right away. Because at that moment, all the bonding hormones are there. And if the mother gets that, there'll be a loving, affectionate relationship between the two. Actually, you know what? I can do a preview of... so I told you this is 10 of 10. But I have some more quotes, so let me do a quick preview for 11, part 11. Let's see. I've got 11 lined up actually here. Let's see. So this will be coming up in the next video here about the skin-to-skin one. Yeah, mother's milk contains high levels of oxytocin. That is the reason why breast milk is so important in nursing. It is sent directly to the suckling baby's brain for comfort and calm. Mothers who nurse are calmer, more social, handle stress and monotony better, and have more skin-to-skin experience with the baby. So women are encouraged to place their babies at the breast right after birth. Don't separate it. Don't weigh the baby. Don't take the baby away. Leave the cord. Place the baby directly to the mother's bosom right away, instantly. Just smoothly, gently, right on, leave it there. The earlier the contact, the more physical the mother. The earlier the contact, that means the more tenderness by the mother. Oh, hang on. The earlier the contact, the more physical the mother was later on with the newborn and talked more to them. There was, in short, more loving contact. So Klaus and Kennel, that's tomorrow's one. Klaus and Kennel were saying about the time sensitivity, that when the baby's born, the mother's producing all this oxytocin to help the baby bond. But that helps the mother to have the love bond with the child. It takes two to tango, right? Two to do this. So don't remove the child. If you remove the child, put him on a scale or something, Jesus Christ, why are they doing that? Because then when the baby's returned, mother's going to reject the baby. She might, because her hormones are dissipating, she's feeling sad, she's mourning the loss of her baby. They were one for 9 months, and now the baby's gone. What happened here? She feels upset because someone took her away her baby. All right, like the hospital procedure said, well, I gotta clock out at 5 o'clock. Hurry up! I want to go home. The guy induced labor and hurried things up or something. Brother feels very depressed. It feels like her baby was stolen almost or something. So she's kind of in a sad place. Then the baby's returned. She's got mixed feelings. Oh, hi, baby, but her hormones aren't there. She might reject the baby and be resentful at all this, and maybe blame the baby for what the doctor did, because her specific anger is to the doctor, but she generalizes it to everywhere. So she's angry at the baby now. So babies need skin-to-skin contact. So about a month ago, look up Deep Pines, Dorothy Pines in our collection from about 1 month ago, a key quote in our collection by Pines. When the baby is placed directly, who cares? People complain it looks messy. Just put a bed sheet over the cord, big deal. The placenta comes out maybe a day or two later, put it in a bowl. The bowl can sit beside the mother on the bed. You can put like a lid over the bowl, allow some space for the cord. Just leave it all there, right? The baby comes out, he's placed on the front, okay, skin to skin. That means the emotional, affective communication between the two can take place. And the skin to skin functions, the skin part functions kind of like the bridge for the emotions going across. Now the communication goes on. Now the reverie, the attunement, now the back and forth, let the music play on continues. So originally it was baby, cord, placenta, mother, mother, placenta, cord, baby, baby, cord, placenta, mother, mother, placenta, cord, baby, do, re, mi, 1, 2, 3, A, B, C. Now when a baby comes out to the land world, Janoff says he's coming into like a whole new world, like a new planet, like a whole new thing, right? Water world and land world, it's like a new planet or something. There's a big transition. So leave the cord, leave the placenta. Now he's making this huge transition to the land world. He needs a land paradise. And in the land paradise, that kind of connection, oceanic oneness, oceanic blissful oneness with the mother is meant to continue. This can continue if you leave the cord, leave the placenta, place the baby on the front. The room is warm, so you don't put a towel around the baby. Leave the smells, leave the stuff, whatever, leave the hormones. Maybe some candles in the room, peaceful room and all this. But again, this is barring emergencies and all that. My disclaimer, I'm not a doctor, but barring emergencies and all that. Right? All the more reason to hand the baby to the mother if there were like minor complications in the delivery. because he's going to need all the support and all the help he can get, and he needs every chance for mother and baby to heal that birth trauma, potential birth trauma. So all the more reason to hand the baby to the mother, because nothing is better than the mother at that point, unless it's really over the top, desperate situation. But so hand the baby to the mother. And Pines was saying that for 4 to 5 months, skin to skin contact the whole time. Mother stays in bed, baby sleeps on the front. Baby sleeps most of the time, skin to skin the whole time. The baby has the oneness with the mother, with the continuous skin to skin contact. What's the big deal? Mother can catch up on her reading or something, and the role of the father is to make sure nobody pulls the baby away. If the grandmother jumps in, oh, let me hold the father says, no, grandmother, step back. It's just the two of them. Just the two of them. If the neighbor comes by, oh, let me pick up the baby. No, father blocks. The father's got to protect the mother-infant dual unity. Oh, I see somebody. Oh, let's check. Let me make sure. Hey, if there's an issue here, I can go to the restaurant. Let's see. Hold on. No, it's okay? Okay. I'll stay as long as I can here, and when somebody needs to use the room, I'll go to the restaurant part. By then, hopefully, it'll be empty. Yeah, this place has the tightest security of all the hotels I've been to. A little. I don't know if something happened. I don't know the story if something happened here, but they're a little more. Careful here for some reason. Okay, but nice place. Yeah, nice place. Yeah, so the babies need an extended oneness, blissful oneness. That's the paradise. Babies need an extended paradise, an extended oceanic feeling. Well, in the uterus, it was an oceanic bliss, oceanic feeling, oceanic oneness, unico mystica. That unico mystica, one with the big powerful mystery, this blissful oneness, that's called paradise. Okay, that oneness has got to continue. So the transition is important. That oneness that was there is meant to transition to the land world, and then skin to skin, suckling, eye contact. You got it. So now the baby can continue the blissful oneness with the mother for 4 to 5 months. Okay, it's not asking too much. For 4 to 5 months for the baby's psychological health, emotional health, physical health, happiness. Let the mother stay in bed comfortably for 4 to 5 months. Let the baby sleep. Now they interact with each other. The mother has a delight in being one with the child like that, allowing the child to use the mother. And the mother functions as a symbiotic object for the baby, not the other way around. The mother doesn't in any way kind of take something for the baby. She's just there to like feed, like just give kind of thing, right? And she loves to do that. She's happy that her motherly instinct is to do that. There's a pleasure in doing that. You rob the mother of that if you remove the baby. You rob the mother of that pleasure of being a mother if the baby's removed. Right? Don't remove the baby. And for God, oh, Jesus Christ. And don't do some barbaric thing of putting the baby, the CIR nonsense, because the baby, it's more than nonsense. That's severe trauma. Go to the Janoffs, Dr. Arthur and his wife, Janoff, on Radio Curious. There's a radio podcast called Radio Curious. They recently reposted an older interview with the Janoffs. And they were talking about this barbaric CIRC, fill in the blank. And he was saying, oh my God, of course it's trauma. Absolutely it's trauma. The baby's like eager to kind of take in what's the love with the mother, and you're going to inflict that violence on him? Oh my God. You can't. What's more traumatic? So of course he'll identify with violence, and he'll be very aggressive in his life. He will be sadistic in his life, kind of thing, because that's his attachment to his safety to the mother, his connection to the mother, treating others the way his mother treated him. He may not be physically violent, but he'll be kind of negative in a very emotionally violent or something, or his attitudes, or I don't know the various forms it can take, but obviously it just makes common sense. Don't traumatize the baby when he comes out. Baby's coming out, mother, a great hope for trust and love and paradise. No, take you away. Some scary guy with someone who's not my mother is going to take you away and inflict some kind of trauma on you, a severe violent trauma on you, and then you'll be handed back. Geez, ouch, what a betrayal, mother. And the baby's handed back. I don't trust you, mother. I don't know who you are. You're a violent stranger to me. I'm never going to trust you. He's got so much stress. He's so revved up. His stress cortisol level is very elevated, and he's born with PTSD at that point. He's not going to trust or love or care, have affection. There'll be no tenderness. There won't be any kind of like affection kind of thing. And then there'll be a constant, what Janoff was saying, there'll be a constant symbolization of affection. So money and people admiring you, or short-term relationships, or something that it's all like a symbolic search for something you don't know that you don't know because you don't know it because the bridge was broken with trauma. I don't want to talk about that's a tough. We only have one quote on this barbaric, cruel thing. The theory about that is, we talked about it before. So 10,000 years ago, we became a traumatized version of ourselves due to the mismanagement and confusion around our discoveries, which gave us all the serotonin, and then our panic around that. So babies were traumatized. When they were traumatized, we made the transition from global village to global pillage. We became Homo naturalis to Homo short-salicus, or Homo economicus, or Homo economicus. So the theory was babies were removed and traumatized because they're going to repeat onto others what was done to them. So babies were given emotional poverty, there's land, their inner land, their soul land was stolen, given emotional poverty. Okay, baby's soul was short-sold, short-selling. You make a profit at the wreckage of something. So baby's soul was wreckaged, plundered. Baby's soul was plundered, pillaged, stolen, inner land stolen, given emotional poverty, identifies with the aggressor, okay, and then generalizes it. Then repeats it. But he acts like the aggressor this time, and treats everyone the way his mother treated him. Or when the doctor does that to him, he doesn't know if it's the doctor or the mother. It's the first other. That's the first mother. So let's talk about something normal here. That's a severe aberration. That's something severely wrong happened to do this. See, in the name of now we're saying okay. When we became Homo traumicus 10,000 years ago, we started to pillage. Okay, a branch of the pillaging is called religion. It's not. When religion is being used as a branch of pillaging, then in that branch, okay, when religion is being used as a tool of pillaging, the religion part says, oh, do that, traumatize them, that's psychology. Okay, then if they're given poverty, they'll give others poverty. If the babies are given emotional poverty, they'll give people poverty, okay, as a symbol of their emotional poverty. Remember, when something's missing and real, we're always doing these symbol things. Plus repetition compulsion. You're going to recreate, reenact that interaction, but you go through life imitating the mothers and finding others to play you. Okay, so mother shamed you, you identify with the shaming mother. New situation, you shame yourself, but too painful. You find others to play you. So you're going to shame yourself, but you see yourself onto others. So the behavior is you're shaming others, thinking you're shaming yourself. And it's endless. It's an endless, timeless loop, and hence that's the psychology needed to pillage and plunder. Because if you're going to pillage and plunder to get that serotonin, you need a pool of poorly paid workers. So poverty was created. So first give babies poverty, then they give others poverty. And we got a whole 7-hour discussion on this topic. Didn't plan on touching it today. We have a 7-hour, we have a thing called the 48 symptoms of Homo traumicus. One of them is the pillage and the plunder, and how religion is tied in with this. TQ 2725, part 3 of 3. It's a 7.5-hour video. That's the most recent run through of the list, the 48 symptoms of Homo traumicus, or Homo short salicus, or Homo economicus, or whatever we want to call it. Okay, so a lot of it's based on negative magic gesture, repetition compulsion, okay, inside out, as above, so below, treating others the way you were treated, so you can know how your mother treated you, and you're not aware of it. And that psychology was created in the panic to not feel the stress that you feel when the serotonin you get from the plundering dissipates a few hours after you get it, so you want more, dissipates, now we're in the plunder and pillage, right? And it's insatiable, it's greed, envy's involved, greed's involved, etc. It took me 7 hours to cover that one. I'm not going to do it in this mood here today. Plus, I want to get this done under 4 hours now. Yeah, so the next video, we got some more good quotes from John off here, so let's save that for the next video. I still got to do today's video here, yeah. Okay, so just to tighten up that an earlier point, we're talking about attachment trauma. Attachment trauma. Okay, the child puts his embodiment or his soul or his inner life, he puts it into cold storage for safekeeping. Cold storage. Okay, the most recently new added song to our soundtrack is by a folk singer by the name of Windmills. She has a song called "My Heart That Lives in Winter." Okay, so emotional hypothermia, we put into cold storage. Various, again, freezing, petrification, turn to stone, unreal, wooden, flat, alexithymia, emotional illiteracy, affect, phobia. Phobia, we're afraid of our feelings. We have an immense fear of our feelings because if you were to admit a feeling, you're going to admit, okay, that a need wasn't met. And when that links you to primal pain. So you're afraid of your feelings because you don't want to be reminded of the primal pain that comes about when the primal need for a secure attachment style isn't met. And from that pain, of course, the person's angry all the time. Now, anger and fear are like the sensational kind of things, right? So affect, phobia. And we might even be afraid of that. We might even be afraid to admit that we're in the fear and anger mode or something like that. Yeah, sure. A lot of people might be are afraid of their anger and all this. So it comes out in passive aggressiveness. So if a person is sort of in an angry mode, either by the personality pattern or just under temporary stress, they may be passive aggressive. They are angry, but they're afraid to know that they're angry. Because that would mean you got to admit that joy and sadness are missing. And if you're going to admit that joy and sadness are missing, you got to admit that your needs for a secure attachment style weren't met, and you enter the pain. It's too much. So if a person is passive aggressive, you'll see them being angry passively, covertly, sneakily, quietly, and they don't even know it themselves. So this would be when people show up late all the time, or don't, follow through on agreements, or break promises, or agree and then disagree, or pretend, or feign innocence, or play dumb. Like they don't want to cooperate. They're being angry all the time. So passive aggressive means you're angry, but you express it passively. Scott Wetzler is sort of our lead author on this. We covered his book called The Passive Aggressive Man. If you look on our search engine here, the search engine that YouTube provides for each channel, type in Wetzler. Scott Wetzler, I think. Yeah, we did 4 videos. I think we did a 4-video run. And I tried to play the clip, like a YouTube clip of him. The audio wasn't too good, but you can just barely make it out. It was a good interview. It was a 20-minute interview with him. They did like a news segment. One of those news shows, like a 20/20 or 60-minute, one of those kind of shows. They did like a 20-minute feature of his book, and they interviewed him. It was pretty good. For 20 minutes, you can get a good kind of snapshot of this issue of passive aggressiveness. It's not just lateness. It's a lot of other little things. Right? The workers who are angry, so they dawdle, and their goal is to make you angry because they don't want to feel that they're angry. So part of it is they see the demanding mother onto the world. Whatever requests others have, they want to say no to the mother. So they generalize. They're angry at the mother. It's specific, but it's so much, they generalize it to the they. So they're angry at everybody, but to everybody is the they. You know, this issue of the specific, is it here? Actually, that's coming up in the next, let's do that. Yeah, that's coming up tomorrow as well. Yeah, this one here, but yeah, that's not a bad one here. Where is it? Do we have it here? Yeah, here it is here. Hang on. Where's that? Do we have it here? Well, it might be coming up in another video. Okay. We've got a lot of good quotes coming up here. Oh, it's not in this one either. We have a good quote coming up where the child is specifically angry at the mother, but it translates to anger to a they, but it's really the mother. Okay, no, I don't. Okay, yeah, we don't have it here. Okay, that'll be in a future video. That wasn't a bad quote, yeah, from Arthur Janov. He writes clearly. That's why we have a lot of material here. Yeah, so we're currently doing part 10 of 10. There's going to be an 11 and a 12. So this has been updated. Now this is part. So this video here is part 10 of 12. After this video, there'll be at least 2 more. We'll see how it goes after that. Wait a minute, or is it here? Oh, yeah, here it. Oh, here it is. Here's the they. It's today's one. It's today's one about the they. Yeah, here it is. How the frontal cortex can take. Okay, so in your limbic system, in your brainstem, or in your brain from the first 3 years, there's something in your memory. Love me, mother. I feel so unloved. Please love me, mother. I feel so unloved. So this cry that the baby has for mother's love. Okay. So the frontal cortex will take what's in the right side of the brain. Okay. So the left side will take this painful imprint that's on the right side, okay, and twist it into the cortex of the belief. Okay. The left side creates beliefs. Quote, they don't like me. They've got something against me. Okay. The quote, they in his head is really is his mother who doesn't like him. It is so painful that it is generalized as they. Again, so this is one of Janov's points. So this mammal part of us, the embodiment, the feelings and all this, animating from your body, feeling the hum of your body and all this, like body electric, I think, whatever they call it. This sense of self and feeling a body. Kristen Wilson says if you're not in your body, you're not making sense, literally. If you don't have your sense of self and you don't have your feelings from it, and you're only angry all the time, you're not making sense anymore. And it's disembodied discourse that causes all these confusions. Everybody thinking in survival mode, my greed or your greed. If I don't short sell, you're going to short. Nonsense. Not everybody's traumatized so early on like that. Not everybody's given the CIRC. Not every baby's ripped away from the mother at the beginning. A lot of babies are getting a loving connection with their mother. Not every baby's like that. But in the religion, in the pillage and plunder, there are some philosophies. There are some patterns where babies are routinely ripped away from their mother, traumatized. You know, and they're going to generalize. Yeah, think about that. The babies who are severely traumatized at birth, they're going to generalize, they hate me, okay, because when there's severe trauma like that, right? Again, how the frontal cortex can take, mommy didn't love me, and twist it into nobody likes me. Okay, the they in his head really is mother who didn't like him. It's so painful that it's generalized as they. Yeah, not everybody's traumatized like this. So if the feeling self is squelched and damaged like this, then this bridge between the brainstem to the cortex, there's no bridge there really, right? Or a broken dirt road or something. So Janov says the imprint, the primary circuit imprint, okay, mother didn't love me, unloved, needs unmet, danger, unfulfilled, needs unmet, mother didn't see me, unseen, however we may describe the primal imprint. Usually it's basically unloved. meaning needs weren't met. When the baby's needs weren't met, we can say unloved. It's a shortcut. So there's a flashing electrochemical neon light in the baby's limbic system. Unloved, unloved, unloved. And it's timeless, it's blinking. It's like flash frozen and it's blinking, but it's frozen, it's blinking. Unloved, unloved, it's timeless, it's infinite, no time. It's just forever, it's just endless. It's infinite morning, timeless morning. It's just blinking, because there's no time there. So it's just blinking all the time. Unloved, unloved, unloved. Right? So this is in the right brain. Right brain says to left brain, hey, cortex, I need your help here. All this pain of being unloved, can you do something? Can you help out here? Left brain says, gee, well, we're not babies anymore, but I guess what I can do is maybe search for symbolic mother. Let me search for symbolic mother. I'll come up with some ideas and things that might be symbolic of mother. That's all I can really do. Now, if I search, now, how about that? Well, it's a disappointment, now when I'm disappointed, now I get endorphins. So if you're going to replay the disappointment with this symbol, I'm going to get endorphins. So you mean all I can give you is the numbing of the mercy of the endorphins? Well, gee, can you invent a time machine, take us back and change the past? Sorry, brainstem, I can't invent a time machine. There are no time machines. All I can do is search for symbols of mother for the time being. So the person can spend their life searching for symbolic mother, symbolic breast, right? Symbolic stimulating fluids, symbolic tenderness and sweetness like cookies and alcohol, and symbolic, or people listening to, or success, or like fame, prestige, fortune, being on the throne, being a star, like all these kind of people's admiration. It's kind of like symbolic of what you needed with the mother. But the cortex doesn't know. That's the funny thing. The cortex doesn't know it. He's searching for symbolic mother, but he doesn't know it. When the guy opens the cupboard to search for some cookies, he doesn't know at that moment that he's searching for mother's sweetness. The cookies the sweets is just symbolic sweetness. It's just sugar, salt, and fat to trick the brain to send the person serotonin, to trick the brain into thinking that the concentrated food means the person's safe, and through the safety by the sugar, fat, the brain's going to send the person serotonin, safety by that. Okay, not safety from mother's love in the past. So you're getting a blip of safety, but it's a trick. It's a synthetic trick to get. So for a minute, you feel safe as if mother loved you. It's the response of serotonin, and you just trick yourself. Well, here's a moment of mother's love. It's not mother's love, but it's so synthetic or symbolic of the pain. It's symbolic of the need, but it has the effect of releasing serotonin for a few minutes or hours or whatever. Now, it doesn't work, right? So the cortex is just searching for symbolic. Okay, now it's a replay of the disappointment. Okay, it's a replay of the disappointment. Now the primary circuit's going on. Okay, so the pain, unloved, unloved. Now, of course, when the baby's so unloved, the brain's response is endorphins, mercy, numbing. So imagine a baby screaming, but it's frozen, like the screen painting, right? Edward Munch's screen painting. Imagine like a baby doing that or something. The fetal scream, he calls it, or something. The unborn child scream or something. But it's frozen, but he's screaming. And there's a light there, electrochemical flashing neon light saying, beep, beep, alert, danger, danger, unloved, needs unmet, needs unmet, needs unmet, unloved, unloved. Now this pain, Janoff describes it as, it's like an order to the brain pharmacy. Please send me some endorphins, send me endorphins. So the brain has a natural pharmacy to send the person endorphins. Now the person goes in a swoon. Okay. Back to Emily Dickinson. There's a pain so utter. It swallows substance up, this cord gets pulled down. And then one goes in a swoon. This swoon, this is like a spongy, numbing kind of feeling where a person says they feel like they're sleepwalking through life, going through the motions of life. Life is passing me by. When does life begin kind of thing? I feel like I'm living the provisional life, the unlived life. Life's not supposed to be a dress rehearsal. We live to the extent that we feel. So we're in this swoon, we're in this trance, we're sleepwalking. Okay, the Greek god for this is Morpheus. So Morpheus appears, and creates the swoon. So the personification of the force that gives you the endorphin swoon is Morpheus. Morpheus. Remember in the Matrix, Morpheus was there? Everybody was asleep, so the guy's name was Morpheus in reference to how everybody was asleep. So the person's asleep, so we're asleep, meaning numb, right? Where are we here? I think, which one was I just reading? Oh yeah, the right brain to the left brain. So, oh yeah, so the right brain says to left brain, help, help, too much pain. Left brain says, I'll search for maybe symbolic mother in cookies, or in ice cream, or in caffeine, or stimulating fluids, or you know, maternal. You missed maternal spirit. Well, I'll search for spirits. All right, maybe that can symbolize maternal spirit, stimulating fluid. He's just searching for symbols. Well, fame, prestige, mother will see. Well, if others can see me, if I'm famous, people will see me. Right? If I'm wealthy, and if I search for wealth and all this, well, that can be maternal love. Okay, so now you're going to be greedy to search. Now, nothing you chase symbolically can actually translate to the fulfillment of the original need, because there are no time machines, no you can't change the past. So you're only searching for a constant symbol of mother's love. So we spend our lives searching for the symbol. Now, this symbol, by the way, can take two forms, Janov says. The more practical, immediate way with the cookies or the alcohol, the beer, whatever. Right? You know, somebody said they're going to open some vending machines, and you can buy Tylenol, all these things in the vending machine, making it easier for people. Jesus Christ. And people don't even know. They go to the vending machine, oh, buy me a painkiller. They don't even know why they're doing it. They don't even know why they're doing it. Huh? It's the trauma bond to the mother. They're maintaining the trauma bond to the mother. Something triggered them. They feel pain. They want the endorphins. Now, why do they go to the machine? Why can't the brain send it naturally? Well, because the supply ran out. The brain's natural ability to supply the endorphins ran out. Right? So, oh, hang on a sec. Uh-oh. Something's ringing on me. Okay, this is one of these telemarketer things. I gotta let this run out. I can't decline it because the camera shuts off. Sorry, you're hearing this buzzing thing. This happens once in a while. Okay, let me take this opportunity to take a break here. Hold on a second. Let me just take a 10-second break. Let this telemarketer get tired. It's not even a human. It's like an automated thing. It's a computer thing. If you answer it and say hello, you'll hear a pause, and then a machine voice comes on, saying, you know, would you like to buy such and such? Hopefully that doesn't mess up the video. No, I've had that happen before. It didn't mess up the video. Okay. Okay, so we'll talk a little more about the symbolic search for mother. It takes two forms, either the direct, immediate way with the cookies, or another way is through beliefs, the hope and the promise that you'll be saved one day. But you don't say one day the good breast mother will appear and you'll be loved in the nursery. You don't say it like that. You just say some entity, some invisible, powerful sky god or something's going to come and save you, you'll be saved. That's just symbol that you want, that the baby wanted to be saved by the breast mother. It wasn't met, so you create a symbol for the past. So this dialogue is what he means here. The left cortex can take the right brain's message or imprint, mother didn't love me, unloved, please mother love me. Okay. The left brain takes the right brain's actual imprint, twists it, okay? So it does get across. The pain gets across. Now the pain would like to go to the mammal, and the mammal can soothe it. But the mammal, the feeling self, is squelched, remember? The mammal side of us, the ability to handle ourselves, handle our feelings, our sensations. We can't handle our sensations because the feelings, normally the feelings would kind of know the sensations and kind of metabolize and everything's okay, we can feel the thing. But that's unavailable. So but the brainstem is there, the survival brainstem is there. So it's going to the cortex in a circuitous way, right? That's the bridge is broken, in other words. So it goes around in a loppy way to the left side. So the left side says, gee, I don't know what's going on here. I don't know why you're in pain or what you want here, but okay, well, I'll just say unknowingly that no one likes me, no one loves me, everyone's against me. The they in his left side head really is the mother in the right side. The pain is so great that the left side just broadly generalizes that everyone doesn't like me. Okay, it's just symbol for the specific, that the mother didn't like him. It just got generalized because the pain's so great, right? If the pain's so great, it's easy to generalize, right? I think we can all relate to this. Sometimes you have a little mishap with somebody, and you might say, oh, they, and you just jump and say they. It's just the one person, but you might say they, right? This point was also made earlier in our series. Let's see, let's take it up here. Yeah, it's where the left brain talks to the right brain, where the right brain talks to the left brain and says, help, help. Help me with the pain. The left brain says, fine, fine, I'll create some beliefs, or I'll just generalize some ideas, or let's see. Where to go? You know, that's another reason this series of videos is, I'm not, normally I'm kind of organized with the videos, but this stretch of quotes by Janov has put me on a kind of a, because I'm reading several of his books all at the same time, so I'm kind of a little all over the place here. Hang on, here we go. The right side of the brain, this one here, the right side of the brain. Okay, so that's the limbic system, i.e. the brain stem and the mammal brain, right? So the crocodile brain plus the monkey brain. Put it together, we can call that the right side of the brain, or the limbic system and the brain stem. Right? So the right side, okay, meaning not the cortex, which is the left side. Okay, the right side of the brain, okay, the first two brains. So we've got three brains, right? So we got crocodile, monkey, and then the humans, the human cortex. The right side is the first two. So the right side of the brain, the old brain, tells the new left side, sort of, okay, quote, or quietly, like in a whisper, right? Hey, look, I can't take this pain anymore, left side, new brain, new kid on the block. I've got all this pain here. The left side says, the new kid on the block, the new brain, the third brain says, well, okay, I'll defend you against having to feel it, and what I'll do is I'll create a flurry of ideas to bury it. Yeah, I'll just create all these fantasy ideas, and one day you'll be saved, and one day this, and I'll turn on the TV and we'll watch a televangelist, and he'll say we'll be saved, and I'll create all these kind of ideas, and that you know, maybe including eating cookies might do it, or. So the left side ideation, what he's doing is, the left side, what he's doing is, he's going to symbolize. He's going to symbolize what lies in the right side. Okay, now try to talk to that person out of their philosophy. You know, those cookies aren't your mother's love. You can't do it, right? The left side creates ideas that reflect, however obtuse. That's very obtuse. Really, the cookies is your mother's love in the past? That's very obtuse. That's psychotic, basically. You can't convince them out of a psychotic idea because you're dealing with survival, right? You're dealing with such pain. Okay, now try to talk to the person out of her philosophy. That's the sky god, or like the cult guru, or the self-help guru is selling you some nonsense. The used car salesman tells you that one day you'll be saved by some mysterious. Okay, now try to talk to the person out of her whatever it is, beliefs. Okay. So the left side, what the left side is doing, it's creating ideas that reflect or symbolize, however crazy, however masked, however obtuse, the feelings on the right, even when the left side has no idea what is exactly on the right side. These ideas the left brain is creating reflects the feelings, while the left brain doesn't know which feelings. So the pain is creating the feelings. Oh, how are we doing? The pain is creating the feelings. Right? The pain is creating the feelings. Sorry. The ideas. The pain is leading to the creation of the ideas, and the ideas are symbols or reflection of the feelings, but the person doesn't know it. That person doesn't know it. So if you question them with their ideas, they don't want to believe it because it'll link to the pain. They don't want to feel the pain. You see, that's why we have all these ideas, to not feel the pain. The ideas repress the pain. Okay. For example, let's say we had one quote recently about a mother who believed that her child can save her. One woman had a son, and he thought that he could be the good mother that she needed back then in her nursery. She thought she could parentify the baby and make the baby be like a parent that she never got. She believed that. That was her belief. No one questioned it. Okay. Now that child was in immense pain by this. And there was a family photograph, and the child was in pain. And she was holding up the photograph to a group of people, telling everybody about her son. Look at this kid here. Isn't he so happy and wonderful? Isn't he so beautiful and happy and all this? Right? And everyone can see in the photo that he looked in despair. The edges of his mouth were turned down, kind of thing. His eyes were sunken down. Like he looked clearly, obviously in pain. She couldn't see it. She couldn't see it. Okay. The idea that masked the projection of her need. So the need was for mother's love. To create an idea that the child can be the mother. It's crazy, it's psychotic, it's obtuse, he says, let's say the least. It's psychotic thinking. It's psychosis-like thinking. It's perverse-like thinking. Whatever the shrinks call it, they usually call it perverse thinking for some reason. Well, the child can't be your mother, and you're expecting your child to give you what your mother should have given you back in the nursery, like constant attention, constant approval, constant looking, constant attention, never letting you feel alone. And one example was the child got so tired of this. One time the child looked out the window, and she screamed hysterically, "Look at me when I'm talking to you." Can you believe it? That's not that exaggerated, enraged outburst was her outburst at the mother. But she transferred the mother onto the child, saw the child as an emotional reincarnation of her mother, tried to get her mother needs met symbolically through the child. Child couldn't do it. She was trying to make it happen, demanding, controlling, henpecking the child, micromanaging the child, controlling the child, brainwashing the child. She said she had a right to do it. She created an excuse to do it. The child was always trying to escape. When the child tried to escape, she got immensely enraged. That rage was her original rage towards the mother. I'm kind of blurring up two ideas here at this point. So one idea is that the beliefs we create are energized or made by the primal pain and the unmet needs. The beliefs serve as symbolic hope for mother's love in the past. Symbolic hope. Now, when the word hope is being used in this Janoff's and Martha Stark's, it means the hope of unfulfilled. Yeah, hang on here. The unfulfilled one. So let me fix what I just said here. Hold on a second. Yeah, here, this one here. The unconscious hope of fulfillment of old unfulfilled needs. Okay, so what we're talking about. So the woman in the example I just gave, right? She had an unconscious hope. Okay, she had an unconscious hope of fulfillment of her old unfulfilled needs. Okay, so the mother had old unfulfilled needs. So when that mother was a baby herself, she didn't get her needs met to be loved by her mother, right? So she now has an unconscious hope of the fulfillment of those unfulfilled needs. Right? That's number one. That's part of it. Well, let's just finish this, right? Pain automatically makes one honest with oneself, while it does away with unreal belief systems. We never got and will never get what we needed as a child. The death of unreal hope is the birth of life. So this motif of the rebirth is right here. The death of the unreal hope. Okay, this false hope that something in the present can give you the love that was needed back in the past. Giving that up finally. Okay, now you're into yourself. Now you're feeling yourself. Now you're connecting with yourself. See, the whole issue is to connect with ourselves. See, the whole issue is to connect with ourselves. In the next video, the concluding one was this one. Yeah, here, the neurotic does not learn and change from his experience. So, like that woman, for example, she's parentifying the child. She doesn't learn. Okay, this woman was neurotic. Okay, parentifying the child. Okay. Making the son be a mother for her, take care of her and all this. Right? This neurotic mother doesn't learn and change from their experience. Why? Because she doesn't experience fully once their pain. Okay, they're avoiding the pain. The belief is a defense against the pain. Okay, in general, next, I don't think we can love, punish, or placate neurosis out of existence. So nothing you can say to this mother is going to change, right? Now the exception might be the film Now Voyager, when the shrink went down the staircase to confront the abusive mother who was abusing her daughter Charlotte, played by Betty Davis. That Betty Davis scene in the Now Voyager, that's maybe one little exception. What the neurotic needs is to connect with herself. So what this woman needs to do is connect with herself. She's got to connect with her pain and her feelings. She's got to find a way to find herself again, right? She's running away from herself by searching for mother all the time, symbolically. She's running away from herself. She's in pain, she's running away. She's an emotional refugee. This mother in the current example, she's an emotional refugee from the love she seeks. She's running away from the pain of her mother while searching for the mother. She's an emotional refugee from the love that she's seeking, right? So she's in flight while she's looking symbolically. Okay, you can't persuade her out of it because her doing that keeps her away from the pain, repeats the disappointment. It keeps giving her the numbing. So that's why she's sleepwalking through life. She's maintaining the endorphins. She's maintaining the endorphins. And if people go on maintaining the endorphins, then maybe the brain can't do it anymore. Then she's got to run to the vending machine and buy the pills that give people endorphins, Tylenol or whatever it is. So the answer to this neurotic person is to connect with yourself. Stop running away from yourself and connect with yourself. One quick example of this, back to Rule 66, TQ 2599, the third quote there. The woman had a loss. She was sad about a loss. She hopped on a moped and was buzzing down the highway. Play Bob Seger's song, Roll Me Away. So she was buzzing down the highway on her motorcycle. And she had the fantasy that behind her, there was another motorcycle chasing her. And on that motorcycle behind her was her grief, her feelings, trying to catch up with her. She was afraid, so she's going faster and faster. And finally she said to her friend, I didn't want my feelings to catch up with me. That's from an episode entitled What's the Cost of a Pound of Albatross? That's the Albatross episode, that one there. It's the third quote on TQ 2599. Another wonderful, beautiful thing about 1001 Windmills of the Mind, I think, is this collection of quotes, psychologically minded quotes from films and TV shows, like the Now Voyager, like Route 66, and a whole bunch of others. We've got hundreds of excellent quotes. Recently, we added some from the Drop Dead Diva legal show, Judd for the Defense, starring Carl Betts. A couple from that Danny Thomas show from the 50s, 60s, is that right? And many others. Yeah, that's coming up, that one there, in the next video, right? The neurotic doesn't learn, right? Because they're not feeling. So it doesn't matter what you tell them. They're going by the imprint. Okay, they're going by the imprint, the primal imprint. what they're doing is running away from the pain. Everything they're doing, everything they're believing, all of their excuses, all of their lives, all of their lies, okay, it's to run away from the pain. What the neurotic needs to do is to connect with herself, is to connect with himself, to connect with themselves. We're looking for ourselves. So the first half of life, we're running away from ourselves, basically. And then at the second half of life, we got to find ourselves. That's like the transition, right? That transition, that marks the hero's journey. Okay, Joseph Campbell's famous phrase, Chinnik calls it the second journey. So roughly at midlife, we start to look for ourselves. We turn inward, because we're looking inward. Ithaca's inward. Okay? Ithaca's our soul castle. And Penelope's like the feeling side. Metaphor, right? So we're talking about trauma. If a person's traumatized, they're running away from themselves, searching fame, prestige, or people's love or something, romantic love or something. They're always kind of like looking outward, chasing for symbolic mother. Finally, at midlife, okay, something's wrong here. You're running away from yourself with this relentless hope. Back to this one here. The unconscious hope of fulfillment of old unfulfilled needs. The pain automatically makes one honest with oneself, while it does away with unreal belief systems. We never got and will never get what we needed as a child. Yeah, Roger Gould also, we have a quote from Roger Gould, the author of the book Shrink Yourself. He makes a point about this in terms of growing up. Stop thinking that you're going to somehow get your mother's love. You're never going to get it. You didn't get it, you're never going to get it. It's past that critical thing, that critical period from birth to 3. Past that critical period. If you didn't get it, you're never going to get it. You're only going to chase symbols of it. So you got to go back, feel the pain of it, mourn of it, and now you have new life from there. Yeah, Roger Gould, yeah, Shrink Yourself. We have a few good quotes from that book, Shrink Yourself. It's about emotional eating. He means analyze yourself. He wasn't trying to insult anybody about obesity. He said, analyze yourself. For example, when you reach for the cupboard, you're holding a handle, pause and say, what am I really hungry for? So you notice it was a symbol, but you're really hungry for the maternal sweetness that was missing. At least know it. Like, maybe it doesn't help, but at least you might pause, and sometimes you can distract yourself or something. It's not gonna. Only when you feel it, Janov keeps saying, is it gonna work? Okay, so again, we're searching for symbolic mother. So let's run through a couple of the quotes so far on this point. Let's see. Okay, well, yeah. I mean, the answer here is to connect with our feelings, right? So connection of feelings. If you connect with your feelings, you won't have this left brain bias of the false beliefs, right? The left no longer on its own, ignorant of your feelings, right? We need both the feeling aspect of an experience and its comprehension. That's the link between the brains, right? You understand your feeling. You're connected with your feelings and you're aware of it and you understand your feelings. And your feelings can absorb the sensations. That's the mark of an integrated feeling. Integrated, it's a part of you. You accepted it. That means you're connected to yourself, right? If it's an integrated feeling, that means you have your selfness. I feel, therefore I am. If you want your feelings, you got to get your amness, your amness. I am, then I can feel. Once there is a locked-in feeling, accepted feeling, the system immediately shifts to the compensating nervous system to achieve balance. Yeah, he said here that then your body temperature might cool down a little bit, your heart math breathing would be more rhythmic, your voice more calm resonance. You'll be physically healthier. Like, so your physiology, your vital signs will all kind of normalize, right? Once you get your feelings. So if you get your feelings, your body, get body minding. And so what we're trying to do is integrate. Yeah. Okay, so what Gerald Elderman and Giulio Tononi point out in their book, A Universe of Consciousness, is that integration means that suddenly, quote, many different parts of the brain are privy to information that was previously confined to some specialized subsystem. You see, that's a pretty good line, right? So the different parts of your brain, right? Your three brains are now privy. Now, they now have access to the information that was previously all fragmented in subsystems. So the problem is to figure out how to join these three brains. Now, mind you, those brains or systems would be naturally integrated were the force of the feelings not so overwhelming. The brain says, well, I must concoct bizarre ideas to take the place of the real ones that can only spell agony. Okay, so ideas repress the feelings. So Janov goes on a big rant that a lot of these ideas and CBT is just to repress the feelings. Repress the feeling. If you repress the feelings, you get endorphins. Okay, so you're trying to get endorphins. Repress the feelings, that's pain. So ironically, he says CBT is to give you pain so you get the endorphins. I must concoct ideas of one form or another, some pep talk slogan or don't worry, get over it kind of slogans or whatever, in the place to repress the real feelings, because to accept the real feelings, well, that's too much pain. I don't want to feel the pain. Consciousness is no more than maximized integration among neuronal groups and different levels of the brain. Yeah, see, look at this. Babies who experience birth trauma, they end up with PTSD. What if we have pain that no one is aware of? Not even ourselves. A pain that occurred before we had verbal memory. A pain laid down solely in terms of neurochemistry, without words. A pain that came from being abandoned just after birth due to the illness of the mother. Yeah, that's a common one. He said some babies come out and the mother's ill, and she's out of it. She's in a coma or something. She's out of it. The baby's removed for several days or whatever. That's a pain so utter. If the baby's got to be removed because the mother's sick after giving birth, right? Not her fault, of course, but anyways, the baby's going to have a pain in there. That's called the imprint. Primal pain leads to the primal, from the unmet primal need leads to the primal pain, leads to the primary imprint of being abandoned. A pain that came from being abandoned just after birth due to the illness of the mother. Ingrained here is a massive aloneness, abandonment, depression, helplessness, hopelessness, feeling that cannot be articulated. Now, if we take painkillers, we may be known as an addict because we are trying to kill a pain that no one can recognize. No one can recognize these pains, and paradoxically, it is those pains, those pre-verbal pains, that are the most severe and the most likely to cause addiction. So in other words, emotional eating, smoking, etc., this is pre-verbal pain. This is pain from a pre-verbal time. This dysfunctional living is all running away from the pre-verbal pain. Yeah, she realized that she had her child so she would never feel alone. She became far more dependent on her child than the child did on her. Let's go back to the symbolic one. Okay, when somebody says, yeah, I wonder about this, I question what you're saying here, the left brain says, well, the reason is, okay, that's code for the feeling is, well, if you're wrong, if what you're saying is that I'm wrong, that means I won't be loved by my parents. So I must protect the BS. If I admit that I'm lying, the feeling is I'm going to feel that my mother didn't love me. So I got to maintain the BS. So the belief, the BS, is a defense against the pain of being unloved. It is defending against the feelings on the right side of the brain. That feeling of being unloved is already there. The trigger in the present lights it up and swirls the feelings again. one rationalizes because one cannot stand one more bit of criticism and the terrible feeling that it sets off. The left accommodates and does the defending without even knowing why. See, the person doesn't know why. That's why if you you can't argue with most people, because they don't know that their stubborn argument is to defend against the pain of the pre-verbal pain of the pre-verbal time. Like this, for example, this bigoted guy, this agent of hate guy. One example, this agent of hate, okay, prejudice, right? He thinks because his okay, you know the type, right? Agent of hate has admitted. So this guy has already admitted to taking lots of strong painkillers over his life. But that wasn't enough. He needed more painkillers. His ideation brain and strong-minded, bigoted philosophies are anchored to feelings of which he is not aware. Okay, so his prejudice and bigoted ideas, okay, plus the strong painkillers, you add it all up. Okay, that's all to quell his pain. There's no use in talking him out of those feelings or beliefs than it would be to try to change his whole childhood history. It isn't just that he has these unreal beliefs or unreal ideas. It's that his disconnected system forces him to quell the pain. So anybody who's spouting or advertising prejudice, they're good, you're not okay. Anybody who says, I'm okay, you're not okay. A lot of cynicism, a lot of dark humor, shaming humor, put down humor, okay, the narcissistic pattern, the bully pattern, all that negative rhetoric, okay, propaganda, fallacies, all this stuff, they're just quelling their pain. They're just quelling their pre-verbal babyhood time pain. So you turn on the TV, you see some bigoted guy, we're number one, they're no good, we good, you no good. Any kind of barbaric splitting mechanism, okay, that means you felt no good, right, by the mother. That's a pain so utter. You project yourself onto others and say they're not okay, to externalize and see and distract you from the pain within. Then you revert to the time in the uterus when you were on the throne. So you say, oh yeah, we're so superior. All these slogans are on that, and others are no good. Okay, that's the pain of, if you were to admit the thing that you're saying about others, you're feeling it yourself. So it's a symbol and a defense against the pain. So the beliefs represent the pain, symbolize the pain, and defend you against the pain. They represent the pain and are created by the pain, and at the same time, you don't even know you're doing the whole thing. The reason a rationale may seem realistic, that's pseudo-logic, right, is because it is fabricated by the left brain with no emotional reference. Because the pain might enter, ideas come up as defenses. They must be there so long as the pain is churning below. Yeah, so his pessimism and negative philosophies about others, it's like inside that unloved, remember the baby screaming in the frozen screaming silence, frozen, flash frozen, screaming silence, baby scream painting, and it's unloved. And there's a pain, imagine a little Mr. Pain there cranking out shards of negative comments about others. So those negative philosophies about others, that's being created by the pain guy, Mr. Pain in there, cranking out. He's got a massive encyclopedia of put-down terms, insult terms, shaming terms, these negatives, bitter, banter, kind of all this dark humor, black humor, shaming. He's just cranking all these negative things. You're no good. I'm superior. You're no good. I'm okay. You're not okay. I'm okay. You're not. So they revert to the time of the uterus, where they felt self-sufficiency and superior. Okay, the baby's on the throne. Their humanness, too painful. They see their humanness. Okay, they want to see their own shamed, unloved humanness, hopeless, helpless, pained humanness onto others. Okay, see others express what they're feeling. That distracts them from feeling it within. So their negative philosophies are to that end, to not feel the pain that what they're saying about others is what they feel within. So that's why prejudice comes from trauma, comes from pain. So prejudice is a belief. Okay, that kind of troubled belief, that's created by pain to keep you away. That belief's created by pain to keep you away from the pain. And you're adamant with the belief, because as you're adamant with the belief, you're continuing the need to repress the pain because you don't want to feel that pain. It's hard to feel that pain. Janov has like he tried to develop a whole thing about it, create a soundproof room that's dark, and you have an assistant helping you. Okay, what do you feel? What does it remind you of? Take it back, do it bit by bit. It takes you like a year or two to do it, kind of thing. So it's a lot of work to kind of be able to relive that. And let's clarify. Let me pause here for a second. Most of the quotes we're doing here so far, the vast majority of them are about his knowledge about the brain's response to trauma. I'm not really familiar, I don't even really know honestly too much about the so-called technique. He calls it the primal technique, primal theory, primal technique. He's got all these books called Primal Scream, Primal Healing, Primal Man, Primal Revolution, whatever it is, I forgot. Primal. So this so-called technique of that he has, I'm not clear what it is. He said people got to be trained in it. It's got to take time to train people in this, make them understanding in this area. So he doesn't have a training manual, so I don't really know what goes on in these primal centers, or whatever they call it. But when he wrote his first book in 1970, a famous pop star, several famous well-known big names in the entertainment industry widely endorsed him. And he got a huge boost, and he became an instant celebrity, an instant rock star, I guess. And people were flying to California. Oh, help me to relive what I couldn't live. I want to now live what I couldn't live, and live it so I can feel better and be free from it. And they were all trying to do this process. And I kind of I'm shying away from that whole thing. Because I don't really understand it, number one. I haven't had the experience of it, number two. And number three, it sounds like, in essence, what he's talking about is how do we grieve this huge loss of not getting the love that caused that kind of pain. And this is now we have a whole thread on grief work, and complicated grief and aggravated grief. And a lot of it is about forgiveness and self-reparenting to get some identity and amness so you can have the feelings. The psychic structure to admit a loss is what's called differentiation, some sense of identity of yourself. That there's an amness, then there can be a feeling. So sadness could run the console. He doesn't really talk too much in this area, right? He says, well, you maybe can bypass it. That's what I thought he meant, but now now this first quote today kind of clarifies a little bit. So in this video, in this part 10 video, the first quote I found very helpful in understanding his logic behind the theory that one can finally feel what they should have felt back then. Because obviously there's plenty of oxygen in the therapy room. But back then in the canal, there was no oxygen. But you go there, wait a minute, there is oxygen here. Oh, I can breathe now. So that's the first point here. But before I do that, let me just finish what I was trying to discuss earlier. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about the symbols, searching for symbolic mother. Oh yeah, and the beliefs, yeah. So for example, about beliefs, the wider the gap is between deep feeling and awareness, the greater the unreality of the belief system. Okay, the more remote the feeling, the more far out the belief system, and the more tenacious its hold on us. Oh yeah, this woman was obsessed with aliens. Okay, so that's a symbol to not feel her alienated feelings, i.e., it's not natural. It's alien for a baby to be traumatized. It's not natural. It's not normal. Every baby expects to be loved. He's going to be traumatized. He's going to give him the CIRC thing. Oh my God, that's a very strange, abnormal, alien kind of thing. That's not a human. That's not a loving, normal thing like that. So this deep imprint goes in the brainstem. It's a primary circuit. Janoff gives the name of the sealing chemicals that creates this loop, and it's going on timelessly in there. And a person might say, gee, something's in me, it's kind of like strange, it doesn't belong there. Some kind of painful memory, where did I get this from? It's not normal to have this kind of hurting thing making me feel this way. So it's a feeling, it's not supposed to be there, so it's an alienated feeling, plus this alienated feeling feels alien. Okay, so the person would, hey, left brain, help, help. Okay, well, I'll create ideas about aliens in the sky. And then that'll externalize and symbolize what you're feeling to distract you from what you're feeling, and that won't make you aware that your belief in aliens is really code for your feeling of the trauma. So belief in aliens is a symbol that the person was traumatized as a baby, either inside the womb, at birth, or shortly afterwards. Okay, so anybody who believes in far out things like this, that's metaphor for birth trauma or prenatal trauma. Right? So the belief externalizes what you're feeling. Now your attention is outward and you're fascinated. Oh, gee, tell me more about aliens. I'm so fascinated with aliens. Okay, well, buy my books, come to my seminar, pay money, send me money, I'll tell you. And they're addicted to the externalization of the idea of some strange, crazy thing like that, far out thing like that. Because that's a metaphor, that's a symbol that she feels that she can't know this strange alien thing called prenatal trauma. That's not supposed to happen. That's an alien, quote unquote, alien kind of thing to experience. Babies are not supposed, it's out of this world. We're not supposed to be traumatized. It's not normal, it's out of this natural thing. Babies aren't supposed to be traumatized. Babies are supposed to be held and loved. Natural mammal thing, right? It's a natural kind of thing. Yes, there are exceptions in the survival, but I'm just talking generally. Yeah, that's a separate topic about some kittens, yeah, I noticed that some cats, they might abandon one of their kittens because they can't take care of it. But that kitten's just not going to make it all together. He's not going to live with trauma, is he, right? Yeah, that's a separate topic, I guess. But no human baby is meant to be abandoned. Yeah, put it that way. No human baby is supposed to be abandoned. But before we had the cortex, in the animal world, maybe that's a different scenario with food issues, right? Maybe it's a different scenario. But with the cortex, no way with the cortex, right? Because now we're reasonable, now we understand, we're connected to ourselves, we have empathy for our babies, etc., right? The more painkillers a woman takes during labor, the more likely her child will be to abuse alcohol later on. Yeah, so the example was the monkeys, right? Go back to the alcohol one for a second. Some guy took 10 monkeys, right? 5 of them, baby monkeys, 5 of them they allowed to be bonded with the mother. So 5 baby monkeys were allowed to stay with their mother and be loved normally. The other 5 babies, they ripped away from the mother, and then they were hurt and abandoned and all upset, right? Okay, some time later, all 10 monkeys were brought together, and they were all offered booze. The loved monkeys had no interest, but the starved monkeys were voraciously interested in it. So yeah, so if somebody's an alcoholic, that's a sign that maybe they were traumatized in the uterus at birth or shortly afterwards. And and the burglar says it replays the cycle of disappointment. It replays the disappointment. Alcohol replays the disappointment. So he calls it, let's see if I can remember again, jocose, moros, bellicose, comatose, right? So the baby didn't get mother's maternal stimulating maternal sweetness milk, right? Didn't get that. But that was a disappointment. That's a trauma. When there's trauma, we repeat and search for symbolically. So they search for the alcohol spirits. So the first part is, all right, mother, I don't need you. I'll get it myself. I'll be free from you, and I'll control this myself and my narcissism, and I'll give myself the stimulating fluid, and you didn't give me. So that's the jocose. He's leaving the abusive mother, going to take charge himself, and he's going to get mother's love in the fermented beverage, whatever. So he's excited that way. That's the jocose. Now, of course, it doesn't work. Now he's going to be disappointed. That's the morose. Like the baby was sad. The baby had a hope. He was sad, right? And then the baby might be angry, and then he's blanked out. Okay. So in the present, he runs to the beer store, whatever, buys a beer or something. He's all excited. He ran to the store, dopamine, excited, gonna get the thing. He's in charge. He's excited. It's jocose. He gets a little bit. Okay, now he feels like he's getting mother's milk, so he's all excited. He's being loved. He did it himself. He rejected the mother. He did it all himself. So it's jocose. He's very happy. He's jovial, right? And for a little while there, he's all excited. Okay, of course, so you're replaying the original. So he's going to be morose, disappointed. And the third part was, well, now enter the infantile megalomania. Now it's anger. Now he's going to be bellicose. Now he'll say the world is no good, or this is no good, or he'll say negative things about others, or if he's in a bar, I guess he throws things. I don't know, the bellicose thing, right? And then the next morning he got the hangover. That's the comatose. So this replays the thing with the baby. The baby had a great hope. That's the jocose. Disappointment. That's the morose. Maybe he's angry. And then the whoosh, the comatose, the endorphins. It just replays it all. So the alcoholic 4 steps replays the 4 steps of the baby and the mother. Okay, baby and the mother, right? 4 steps. Let's try it again. Baby in the first step 1, mother, great hope. It fell. Jocose, morose. Now bellicose, maybe the end. Okay, let's not use Emily Dickinson here for this one. Okay, baby had a great hope. Disappointed. Now he's angry. It doesn't work. Too much pain. Now he gets the endorphins. Okay. Hope, excitement, disappointment, angry, endorphins. Okay. Now you run to the beer store. That's the jocose. That's the jocose. Excited. You're doing it on your own. You're going to take charge. You're going to get it finally. You're going to leave the abusive mother. You're searching for symbolic mother, and the pursuit of going to the beer store. That's a kind of a hopeful, exciting thing called dopamine. Dopamine means you're chasing for something which you think when you get will give you the safety of mother's love. So you think the beer is going to give you mother's nurturance. So you get to the beer store, buy the thing, take it home. Oh, I'm so excited. And for a little while there, you think you're getting the mother's love. You're breastfeeding, in other words, symbolically. So you feel safe, blissful, wonderful, very powerful. Now it didn't work. Morose. Hey, why didn't this work? Now I'm angry. I tried all this. How come it didn't work? Now you're bellicose. That's bellicose. Okay, now finally, all the pain, the swoon. That's the hangover part. He calls that the comatose, the hangover. Another quote on we don't have a thread on alcoholism. It's out of my zone there, but we have a few sprinkling of quotes. One is that one by Edmund Berger. Another one was the demand for the mother. He said, like, maybe the cookies, it's like a preference. You hope mother, but you know you're not going to get it. So you're expecting the disappointment. So it's not too much of a demand. You can eat the cookie slowly or something, and you're not too enraged at the cookie. You're not going to be too angry when the cookie doesn't heal you. But when there's a greater demand for mother, you want an instant. So the alcohol has a stronger demand for the mother because there's a more immediate intensity about it. That's like more of a demand. That was that one there. And the smoking one, we don't have a thread on smoking, but one was life force is object seeking. All of the baby's force. Am I going to get this in 4 hours? I was hoping I would, I gotta anticipate there's a possibility even this video might not get uploaded if this issue hasn't been solved. I'm just guessing that maybe this time it'll work. I don't know. I'm not even sure. Okay, let's skip this. Let's skip the smoking one for now. Okay, let's do some more about the symbolic. Oh yeah, so that smoking would be symbolic. Yeah, so smoking would be symbolic nipple, right? and the thumb for the nipple. So first the baby wants the nipple, not there. Baby uses his thumb for mother's nipple. He's desperate. What a sad thing. Anybody who's sucking their thumb, okay, the mother's failing. The mother's failing the baby big time. She's failing the baby. That's not natural. He's searching for the nipple. He's got to use his own thumb as his mother's nipple. He's got to soothe himself like that. Then later on, to trigger that, they may use the cigarette, thinking, but they're not aware. See, that's the thing. The guy who goes to the vending machine and buys a pack of cigarettes and takes a cigarette or something, he's not aware that he's triggering the time as a child when he used his thumb as a symbol for the nipple. He's not aware of it. Now they're stimulating, right? Because you get some kind of pain, and the nicotine, I guess, gives you some endorphins, so you get some kind of soothing by the chemical. So the cigarette reminds you of the thumb, which goes ultimately to the nipple, right? And the baby was pained, so he got endorphins. Now the cigarette, the nicotine in the tar, gives a person endorphins, as I understand it. I could be wrong about that one. Without early love, an adult may resort to consuming comfort foods. Okay, without early love, an adult may resort to consuming comfort foods, such as ice cream, to accomplish what that love should have done. Yeah, really? The ice cream is going to try to do what mother's love should have done? Okay. Ice cream ensures adequate serotonin in the synapse, exactly what early hugs would have done. Yeah. So the mother's caress and hugs, the baby would get serotonin by the safety of the connection. That's missing. You trick yourself to get it with the sugar, salt, and fat. Okay, but the trick is the concentrated food, concentration of food, sugar, salt, fat in a concentrated form makes the limbic system think that the person's safe, and from that you get serotonin. And you're searching for a level of serotonin to be released that would be equal to the serotonin that you normally would get if the baby loves you. But when the baby's loved by the mother, there's a pathway there. So the inner pharmacy is kind of level and consistent. But that neural pathway of the inner pharmacy is all damaged, didn't get met. So now you're constantly searching for symbolic cookies, ice cream, to kind of fill in for that missing cycle. Loving eye contact and plenty of hugs and kisses in the first 3 years of life create a chemical bulwark that ensures so that no emotional eating becomes needed. Yeah, so the monkeys don't need the alcohol. Remember those 5 monkeys? They don't need the alcohol. Yeah, my guess is that most people who smoke or drink never really realize the connection between pain and their habits. Yeah, they don't know it, right? The guy who lights up has no idea what he's doing. It's just a compulsion, right? Neurosis is a paradox. It is enormously strong, a force that one acts on every day, yet a force that eludes awareness. Beliefs as defenses. These ideas, these beliefs have a dual role. Okay, your beliefs, okay, whatever it is, you're going to be saved, or the cookie's going to save you, or the alcohol's going to save you, or some guy in the sky is going to save you, or something. These ideas have a dual role: to reflect previous experience and at the same time serve to mask the pain of it. A belief system is often where the pain goes. Okay, I'll leave. Okay, once my camera's fixed, I'll spend more time. Yeah, this one about the animals who are blindfolded. Check out the second last one in 2750. We talked about that. Oh no, that was in take 1. Yeah, it won't be. You won't have it. Interesting one. He took some experimenter ripped a little kitten from the mother. I hate these kind of experiments. Anyway, he took the baby kitten from the mother, and put a blindfold around the little kitten for a few months. during those few months, he didn't have the interaction of seeing things, so he couldn't create the neural pathways of the sight and the interaction. He missed that interaction of seeing. A few months later, the experimenter removed the blindfold, and for the rest of that cat's life, he could never see. He was functionally blind, but he had the biology to see, but he didn't have the experience to see. Okay, apply that to humans. If babies don't get mother's love during that critical period, after that critical period, they never see love. They know gratitude, can't accept it. Okay, he gave the example of Marilyn Monroe, right? Missed love in the critical period. All the adulation and admiration and so much fame and success by others, it can't correct that imprint. Right? It's only symbolic. Symbolic is never the real. No time machines. It's past that critical thing. Yeah, so he gave that example there. Animals who are blindfolded in the first months of life never develop visual pathways, brain pathways, and are functionally blind thereafter. No amount of visual stimulation later on will make a difference. It's no different with love, except that when love is lacking early in life, we cannot, quote, see it in front of us. Yeah, so Marilyn Monroe couldn't accept any all that fame and then translate that as mother seeing her. We are victims of this imprint, template, childhood, prisoners of the template, prisoners of pain, prisoners of childhood. If we didn't have a very strong emotional relationship with our parents early in life, the right hemisphere imprints will become a template for adult life that may cause constant broken relationships. Repetition compulsion. We can become addicted to our beliefs because they do trigger off the serotonin, okay, pain numbing neural hormones. The believer can love some abstract idea, but not his neighbors, right? They often have a history of broken relationships. That is because defensive belief systems usually spell deep unconscious pain. Okay, here it is. So, defensive belief systems spell or mean deep unconscious pain. The pain was too much to be felt, and the ideas had rushed in to quell the pain. That is, they rushed in because of the pain. Because of the pain, the ideas rushed in. You see, because of the pain, we believe, oh yeah, well, a magic man in the sky is going to save me. Whatever. Okay? I'm not trying to belittle it, but just trying to... the point is, beliefs are created by our pain. Ideas can have the force of drugs. And when those ideas are challenged, the person is in danger of a withdrawal symptom. Ideas are chemical painkillers in the brain. Yeah, there it is there, right? Ideas are chemical painkillers in the brain. And it is possible to become addicted to these ideas. Okay, hence the people who join cults and gurus and all these things. No one is going to let you take their drugs, their fix away voluntarily. That is why it is urgent that they join with other like-minded people. Now we understand why someone can give up alcohol and find, quote, God. Both have the same effect on the brain. Once the idea encompasses the fact that we are saved, that we don't have to die, that we live on in some fashion or another, that we are absolved of our sins, that we're not alone, etc., the idea will cause the secretion of pain-killing medicines in the brain. The essence of neurosis seems to be to concoct rationales for one's behavior, which is driven by unrecognized forces. That is why one cannot penetrate elaborate rationales and explanations for another's behavior. One guy said, "Why should I give up drinking? It makes me feel good." Okay, said an acquaintance. He had no recognition of the constant tension he suffered. Where repressed pain exists, a scaffold of ideas is built around it. Again, where repressed pain exists, a scaffold of ideas is built around it. the brain is able to adopt a don't bother me with facts attitude. You cannot be open-minded when you have heavy pain. When imprinted pain is so massive that the internal producers of blocking agents cannot secrete enough supplies to quell the pain, the person needs something external to tranquilize her. Comfort foods are sometimes summoned to do the trick, or a good solid belief system will help. It adds to our internal drug supply. The brain is a wonderful pharmacy dispensing the necessary drugs on demand. Now who's doing the demanding? Well, our biologic system, okay, our brainstem, basically, our survival brain, our biological system, our biologic system. Our pain orders and reorders whenever necessary until we're out of stock. When there are too many orders going on for too long, supplies get exhausted. Then we literally have to run to the vending machine for help. Here we see why people with horrendous childhoods are candidates for addictions. Their natural painkillers are not up to the task. Okay, what also happens is that some people escape into ideas. Oh, somebody going in? No, we're okay. Okay, hang on. All right, let's go. Okay, we talked about the placebo, right? The dentist gave the guy the placebo. The belief released the chemistry within because of the belief. It is people in pain who need painkillers, as obvious as that may seem. It's hard to believe that something that happened at birth can drive the impulse to drink at 30. Yeah, so ideas can come in the form of CBT, cognitive therapy. Okay, cognitive therapy. Okay, really what you're doing is just denying your feelings. Okay, it's self-deception, distraction. It's a battle against your feeling. He calls it brainwashing even. The battle against it, the battle is against feelings entering into your awareness. Yeah, back to the religious one. Pressure from the feelings. The left brain then concocts ideas about their pains. Quote, God will watch over me and protect me, unquote. These ideas are the wrappings for the pain that provide symbolic fulfillment. Okay, so God will watch over me and protect me. Okay, that's an idea that serves as symbolic fulfillment of an old unfulfilled need for mother to be there for you and protect you. That is why the exact nature of the need pain is not known. If we strip away the covering, the pain mounts to the surface immediately. The symbolism slips in before the pain can become conscious. Its function is defense. Okay, once again, my disclaimer: whenever we mention the idea of religion, it is a major thread in our collection. We've got a lot of excellent quotes on the psychoanalysis of religion. It all begins with TQ 1203. That's a good introductory quote. Mel Faber's work from his book called The Psychological Roots of Religious Belief. Whenever we can, and Lloyd Damas and so many others, the Breast in the Sky one, etc., maintaining the splitting, it's only when religion is being used as a tool of the pillage and the plunder to prevent healing. So when religion is being used to block healing, to maintain the prejudiced mind, that's needed for the pillage and the plunder. So religion is like a service of pillage and the plunder. It's the psychological underpinnings to pillage and plunder. In other words, to pillage and plunder, you need traumatized babies who are going to be angry and give other people. All right. The pain goes from the primitive symbolic mechanisms to cortical processes, forcing the person to seek symbolic fulfillment. So the primitive processing mechanisms. So that's the right brain, the brainstem. It goes circuitously. If the feelings are missing, it's going to finally get to the left brain. The left brain says, "I'll search for symbolic fulfillment of your old unfulfilled needs." That's all it can do. It represses the pain, it gives you endorphins, it keeps you away, it keeps the pain denied and repressed, it gives you endorphins. So beliefs and cookies are just there to give you endorphins, basically. We're numb in life, like we're sleepwalking, like with trauma, we're mainly sort of in the sleepwalking. Okay, well, let's not, okay, yeah, here's a good one. Pain makes just about everything shut down or constrict, including our perceptual apparatus. If as parents, so if the mother uses her son to satisfy her old needs, she'll be unlikely to see beyond her need and perceive the pain she's inflicting onto her son. Yeah, that's the one about the photo. She couldn't see it. To admit that her son is in pain, to admit it, she's got to face the false belief that her son cannot provide the missing love needs, her old unfulfilled needs of hers in the past. She doesn't want to give that up, to give it up. She would give it up if she admitted that the child is in pain. Then it would come up, but she doesn't want to, but that would bring up the pain. As a defense against the pain, she says, no, my son is so happy, even though the son looked miserable in the photo. So it constricts her perception. She doesn't see reality, she only sees a projection of her need. The mind of ideas and philosophies doesn't know it's being used, doesn't know it serves as a barricade against the danger of feeling. It keeps itself going, reinforced as an airtight lock against pain. It's why no one can convince the person out of her ideas. They serve a key purpose. And people can get very angry when those ideas are challenged. So, let's say you confront your parents about their behavior and they're stubborn about it. Well, the pain is making them do it. Because to admit, to apologize, or to admit something, okay, that's going to bring up their pain. We can only handle so much pain, right? Feelings are us. This is the ultimate meaning of finding yourself. If we discover we were unloved at age 4, for example, well, we're finding our true self. Accepting the feeling that your mother didn't love you, well, that's your true self. The aim in any therapy is to give you back your real self. Whenever a pain is engraved into the nervous system, the response to that pain is also stamped in. The pain and the response are a unity which becomes prototypic, so that under any later stress, the original response system is automatically triggered. So this issue of the prototype, yeah, another one here. The initial birth experience may be prototypic of how the child will respond to stress later on. The notion of prototypic trauma and prototypic defense. Oh yeah, in that lengthy video last time, I spent a lot of time on it. So just a little teaser of it. He thinks, oh, there's that cute bird. I don't know if you can see him. Just, can you see him there? Just on the fence there. Let's see. Okay, not much of an interesting sight, but. That's a bit. These are bigger ones, eh? Look at that. Those are adult. Sorry if you can't see them. He's just sitting there. And now he's turned his back to us. O'clock. What is it? 2.5? Okay, let's just do this part quickly. So the prototype. Janov thinks this is one of his unique theories. If there's prenatal trauma, there'll be a deep primary response, imprint to that pain. And it's generalized. It's used throughout life, basically. So one example was the child was trying to come out of the canal. He was doing his thing, come on, trying to come out. And then whoosh, the mother took an epidural, massive anesthesia, painkillers. It went to the child's brain, and he was like spaced out by it. That became a pattern in his life. Every time he tried a new hobby, I give up. I don't know why. He doesn't know why. He tries to learn a new language. Oh, too much. I give up. He tried to, what was it? He bought one of those bread making machines. He tried it once. The bread didn't come out. Oh, I give up. He gives up easily. So the present stress triggers the old response. That's Janow's definition of neurosis. That old response was for that time. A present stress, if it's going to make you respond as if you're back in the past, now you're being neurotic because the present isn't the past. Oh, there he is. Yeah, sorry, the birds are cool, yeah. They've got some cool birds around here, yeah. It's on occasion you'll see like a truly colorful tropical bird around. Usually they're sort of grayish or black and white kind of thing. Oh, some of them got the blue beak. They're fun. Those are cool. Yeah, related to that one, we have a good quote about the rhythm. Go to 45 and read the quote about the rhythm. This long one here. I think this might be the longest quote in our collection. I think every mother should read this one. Every woman planning to be a mother should read this rhythm one. So related to the prototype issue was the mother wasn't in rhythm with the baby, which is needed for to have a proper birth. It's as if the child is saying, "Hey mother, aren't you listening to me? Where are you? You're misattuned to me. You're not connected to me. I don't feel heard or recognized by you. Where are you, mother?" And he needed that to go through the canal properly. There was a problem there. He had problems with the birth and all this. Okay, template. He goes through life putting himself into situations where nobody understands him. How come you don't understand me? I said this. It's pretty clear. You don't get it. So he's still back there. He recreates in the present something that reflects the past. Because unfinished business in the past, hoping to undo the past, correct the past, change the past, get the love that was needed in the past. And what he was saying to the person in the present was, "Geez, I hope I can I'm not getting through to you. You're not understanding me. I'm not getting through to you." Because he thought if mother understood him, he would be able to go through the canal. He would get through the canal. So he wasn't being understood. He wasn't getting through, like in the past, right? A dramatic example was the bronchioles one. The poor baby constricted his bronchioles to a point out of desperation. Later on, when there was a stress, he had an asthma attack. So there's Janow's vivid example of neurosis. The present stress, he isn't in the amniotic sac, but he's acting like he's in the amniotic sac with stress and constricted his bronchioles. And to do that in the present, he had the asthma attack. Very dangerous, because what if he doesn't have his puffer, kind of thing. Another prototype was the mother went to a heavy metal concert. The baby was scared and kicking around, and then accidentally twisted the cord around him, and he was in a panic. And mother said, "Hey everybody, touch here, touch my belly. Little Junior inside is going to be a soccer star." Okay, that's called soul blindness. The mother's soul blind to the baby. Baby's kicking around in a huge panic. He's fighting with the sea monster, the Odyssey story. Okay, I mentioned that last time. Okay, in another video, I'll update the issue about the sea monster being an image the baby creates when he projects his. Oh, I dropped a couple of. Oh, hold on a sec. Sorry, I dropped a couple of sheets here. Don't want to lose these sheets. Before I forget, which one are these? Jeez. Okay, let's do these later. Yeah, the cord has 3 veins, right? Placenta, cord, 3 veins. Baby's enraged, projects his rage onto the first mother, which is the cord and the placenta, blurs it up, and creates the sea monster image. So the baby's fighting with the sea monster. He's in rage. He's in hell. He's scared. Now the baby was kicking and kicking, trying to unravel the cord to get more oxygen. It got to a point where the baby thought, don't move. Don't move. If I kick one more time, I'm gone. I can't do it. So he said to himself, I can't move. Don't make a move. Don't make a move. So whatever was going on, the baby thought, I can't make a move. And that was a pattern. That was an imprint. He went through life always feeling this sense that whenever there's a stress, he said, no, don't move. Don't move. Okay, a job he doesn't like, don't move. Don't make a move. Relationship he doesn't like, interaction he doesn't like, don't move. Don't move. He always had this kind of passive, don't make a move kind of thing. Similar, related to it is the woman felt overwhelmed in the uterus. So she had a pattern in life. If there's any little expectation on her, her impulse was, I'm overwhelmed. The husband said, yeah, the bus is leaving in 5 minutes. Oh, back off, I'm overwhelmed. So she had PTSD, easily triggered. She was overwhelmed, high stress. So the baby's experiencing all this stress. He's overwhelmed in the uterus. He goes through life with this constant feeling, overwhelmed, and if there's any requirement on him, I'm overwhelmed. It was easily kind of triggered. Related to it was the person felt helpless. So in the prenatal distress syndrome, the child thought, oh, somebody's coming in here. No? Okay. Sometimes they're just looking. They don't necessarily want to come in. When child thought, gee, I can't do anything here. I'm powerless here. He's in the uterus, all this stuff's going on, nothing he can do. Now, it turned out that that child entered into a dysfunctional marriage. The family was dysfunctional, and that continued. This constant feeling of, geez, nothing I could do, nothing I can do. Just like in the uterus, nothing I can do. Just like in this home with arguing parents, nothing I can do. Okay, finally, later on, it was a pattern. Any little problem, nothing I can do. And she had a fight with the husband or something. He was threatening to leave. She said, oh, nothing I can do. That's neurotic. Yes, there's lots she can do. She could just talk about it, go to the therapist or something, clarify. She can save the marriage, but she didn't try because her instinct was nothing. Her reflex for the past was nothing I can do, nothing I can do. So she couldn't see realistically because she was transferring the past into the present with the pattern. Related to that one is the woman who said she was stuck in the canal in a very long protracted birth because the mother clenched up and because she didn't want to be a mother. No, I don't want to be a mother. No, she was clenching out of the fear of being a mother. So she clenched up and the baby couldn't come out. The baby was stuck in the canal for a very long time. It was an extremely long protracted labor and the baby was just stuck there, frozen there, stuck there. She said, that was the imprint. She said that she felt like all her life she feels stuck. Everything she does, whatever it is, I don't know why, but I just feel stuck here. I'm here, I feel stuck. I gotta go. I always felt stuck kind of thing. Okay, there are a few other, there are more examples about the prototype that sort of sets the stage for the person's life. That's one of Janov's theories. Let's see. Yeah, there's the overwhelmed one. Okay, there's the asthma one. Here's a key one here. With deprivation, the system remains continually under stress because there is an electrochemical sign inside that flashes unloved on and off. That sign gives a string of orders to the brain. Secrete this chemical, stop that one, reduce this one, increase that one, etc. These deviations are the compensating mechanisms. Now, the natural order of things is love. The lack of love is unfulfilled need that sets off the alarm. Okay, this rhythm one's a good one. If ever a woman should take good care of herself, it should be during pregnancy. She needs a relaxed system. If the reasons for having the baby are neurotic, neurosis will follow inevitably in the child. And Janov gave several examples in 45. Yeah, TQ 2745, we have 4 or 5 examples of this. Yeah, that's an interesting one. Yeah, so they have $1 billion. Why are they still drinking? Well, history. Talking about history, the imprint. Okay, love outside the critical period cannot make permanent changes in the neurobiological system. Right? That's so Marilyn Monroe, right? Got all this love. It didn't change the imprint. She became addicted to substitute fulfillment. Substitute fulfillment. The client must eventually feel the lack of love she underwent in childhood. It is the pain of feeling no love that lifts the repression. All of this symbolic stuff keeps, quote, unloved from being felt. Okay, prestige, fame, glory, money, catwalk, searching for the throne, infantile megalomania, cynicism. This keeps unloved from being felt. Okay, so in the Pied Piper of Hamelin, the guy was singing, "Give me prestige." In the Peer Gynt story, he says, "Well, give me glory." Okay, in Emily Dickinson's poem, "Fame is a fickle food." Fame is a fickle food, shifting plates. The crow inspected it, and with ironic caw, flew past it, but the man took it. So fame, prestige, glory, okay, this keeps, quote, unloved from being felt. Chasing symbolic, unreal hope for the past, okay, keeps the pain from being felt. Once the suffering is felt, the trauma loses its force. If there were any way that an imprint can be, quote, erased, it would be in bringing the trauma up to the prefrontal area for integration. Trying to integrate it, accept it, that's the thing. And that's his whole sort of promise, Mr. John. He claims he found a way to do it with his soundproof, darkened room, and coach there being there for him. So yeah, again, about this process of how to relive this, we're not covering this here. I'm just covering his knowledge quotes, except for this first one here. So now let's begin part 10 of 12. Now it's 12 now. So here's the first quote. This is sort of the first real quote that kind of gives me at least some idea of his understanding, or sales pitch, I don't know. Maybe half sales pitch, half true, half fake. I don't know if anybody really truly did this, or mostly are these just Hollywood or California? Are these just all actors pretending to be convincing in their films or something? Did people shut down, or is it people just for fun, blowing off steam? He claims hundreds of people actually healed from this method, his method, hundreds over his lifetime. And his evidence was the physiology changed. In the beginning, they had a high body temperature. After the primal screams and all this, or reliving, yeah. You're not really living it. You're living it, because you couldn't live it the first time. So after living the trauma, the body temperature cooled down to a resonant place. The vital signs normalized. I guess he stopped sweating or whatever it was, or didn't have physical symptoms, breathed more smoothly, rhythmically. He said the timbre in the voice was more resonant, not in a booming, not in a like a booming, I want to control you kind of voice, or not in some kind of hypnotic, listen to me, you trying to trick you to hypnotize you kind of voice. Not those kind of voices. Just like a natural timbre in their voice. In other words, he hooks people up to brain scans and takes people's temperatures and all these things. That's his sort of argument, that body-mind. We're a body-mind, right? We have a body and a mind. The trauma goes in the body. You think only the mind's going to solve what's in the body? You're going to ignore the body and you can just do talk therapy? Well, in psychoanalysis, well, yes, you can talk, you create a level of safety, then the feelings feel safe to come to you. He says, I tried that doesn't work. Let's bypass it, and let's go to the darkened room. You feel safe with somebody. You don't need all these insights, because most of those insights just just distract you or just keep you away from the feelings. So let's minimize the insights, which he calls awareness. May be interesting or something. And let's live the trauma. The baby couldn't live it. Now we have oxygen, we can live it. That's his theory. So, live it or reliving. So, a reliving episode. First he tried to live it, so now he's calling it a reliving episode. Sometimes he just calls it like you're really just living it for the first time. Okay, a reliving episode. We're talking about the birth trauma or prenatal trauma. A reliving episode. Okay, a reliving episode. Once one is totally in memory, body and soul, and one has to relive a lowering of oxygen supplies at birth, the system acts as though there is this tremendous need for oxygen and accepts deep, heavy breathing for a long period of time as a normal reaction. I didn't put it here. He calls it locomotive breathing. So the baby clenched up, he couldn't breathe, right? Now you're back there. Hey, there's oxygen now. Hey, oxygen is available. So what did the body need? Locomotive. Come on, we can play this. Come on, baby, let's do the locomotion. So the baby did this locomotive breathing, this long, deep kind of breathing. He wanted to do it in the birth canal. He needed the oxygen. He needed all the oxygen, but he clenched up and he couldn't get it. So now you go back there, somehow, darkened rooms, soundproof rooms, safe assistant. How you feeling? Stay there. You're present. So the caring witness is considered somebody who doesn't interrupt you and doesn't tell you what to do, and just you feel safe by the caring witness. I don't know if he monitors your vital signs or something. That's why I'm not a doctor. I'm not really talking about this too much. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not sure how he monitored people's vital signs, because it is a risk to do this. It's a risk to kind of go back if you're not ready to go back. But luckily, most people just shut down anyways. You try to feel, I can't do this, you walk away. Most people just automatically shut down when there's too much pain anyways. And he says that no, he doesn't try to bypass that. But some charlatan people who took his theory and created what they call holotropic breathing, or the rebirthing sub-branches, spin-offs of his thing. He says those are the charlatans who stole his ideas to make a quick buck. And those are the ones that are causing harm and giving him a bad name. And the victims of those ones are coming to him and say, please help, I went to the spin-off ones, they hurt me, can you help me? And he helped them, he said, according to his last book, written when he was 92, he wrote his last book, he talked about it in there. Okay, a reliving episode. Once one is totally in memory, body, and so part of it, just one teaser to this is, if you have a belief about somebody in the present, oh yeah, my girlfriend doesn't listen to me. Okay, well, feel that. Stay with the feeling. Let it come to you, who in the past did listen to you. It'll go back. It'll naturally go back. You're trying to feel. You got to create the conditions, the safety. It wants to come up. The feelings want to come up. So you stay with the feeling. So you start with the cortex, the false belief. Your girlfriend didn't listen to you. And you go, like evolution was brainstem, mammal, cortex. So you go back in the same sequence. So the belief was, oh, she didn't listen to me. Okay, then stay with the feeling. Who didn't listen? That's the mammal. Mother didn't listen to me. Now, if you can go there, theoretically, you'd go into the pre-verbal area. You wouldn't say anything at this point. You'd be in fetal position, screaming or something. That part, I don't know. I haven't seen it. Or if it's... he says the only proof that a person truly relived it is the physiological vital signs, if their body temperature cooled off, etc. Okay, again, a reliving episode. Once one is totally in memory, body and soul, and one has to relive a lowering of oxygen supplies at birth, the system acts as though there is this enormous need for oxygen and accepts deep, heavy breathing for a long period of time as a normal reaction. Oh, okay, that's a relief, right? So the brain system is crying out for oxygen. What brain system? What are you talking about? Well, the one that suffered anoxia at birth. if this brain system isn't engaged, then there may be hyperventilation, dizziness, fainting. Okay, so if you get to the right spot, you'll get the deep breathing. If you don't get to the right spot, you may hyperventilate. So there's the thing. His analogy for this was at the fair. The guy has to, Papa, you know those games. You have to hit the lever to make the ball go up the pole to hit the bell at the top. I think Popeye tried to do it. He couldn't do it. But when he ate spinach, he hit the thing and he hit the bell, and the bell flew off and all this, right? So we got to get to that place of hitting the bell. Then you do the deep breathing. If you don't quite get to that place and you don't hit the bell, you might hyperventilate, and there's the danger. That's why you need the skilled people in this area. Yeah. So there's a big question mark at that point about this. So if things are going well, there won't be hyperventilation. Right? If the person does descend to that early brain system, everything is still there. It's still intact as it was originally. So as metaphors, you went to the right address. You went to the right address. Right? Like within, right? The old childhood address. Where you were traumatized. Right? Like if you want to go to what's the famous thing? If you want to see the Grand Canyon, you got to go to the right state, right? If you go to the wrong state, you're not going to see it, so you got to go to the right address. Well, within the right address is that early part of the brain. You got to go to the right address, he said. The memory is the memory is present, and the person is, quote, back there at the right address. She is reliving the event with the brain system involved at that time, and therein lies resolution. For example, blood pressure can go from 200 over 110 to 120 over 80 at the end of the session. The memory has left its storehouse and has finally connected to the frontal area. Okay, so you're conscious. You're aware of all this. You don't do it blindly. You're anchored in the left brain. You're aware of it. We react now as we should have back then. Now, here we go. This is the key sentence here. We react now as we should have back then. The baby back then couldn't do the deep breathing. Now we go back then. We can't do the deep breathing. We can do the deep breathing because there is obviously plenty of oxygen in the therapy room. That's the first kind of quote that gives me some little clue to what he's doing, what he's talking about. I still have a question mark if this is real. Because if it is real, if this guy's legit, and hundreds of people were able to relive it, then I think we all got to drop what we're doing and do this and get everybody to relive this. And get back our feelings, then we make sense. We're good, we're healed. We're homo traumicus. If we can find a way to heal our trauma, that should be the number one priority. But as George Carlin says in that famous comedy clip, the most traumatized ones are resistant to that. All right. A neurophysiologic change. A neurophysiologic change of a key fragmented sensation into a feeling is a primal. Okay. So some clue, if you can get some kind of clue, that's like a fragmented sensation. So you get some fragmented sensation. Gee, something's wrong here. Can you get the sensation to a feeling? He calls that a primal. Okay, the expression of the pain moves up the evolutionary scale. The absolute necessity for resolution. Biologically, people always try to expel what hurts. It seems to be another biological issue. For example, painful feelings are also going to be... Okay. Yeah, that's not too clear, though. Maybe I'll take that one out. Now let's delete that one. Find a better version of it. He was just saying it's natural. If something doesn't... If you inhale some fumes or something, your body's going to try to expel it, right? It's a natural biological thing. Well, if you're stuck with this painful memory, you're trying to relieve it, you're trying to expel it kind of thing, right? Exercise it, trying to get it out. It's a natural kind of thing. So we have this wish to kind of go back, expel that frozen, painful trauma memory in our memory house, trying to get it out and be relieved. A good image for this is Kirikou and the Sorceress. The French animated, check out the French animated film called Kirikou and the Sorceress. I recommend the English dubbed one. Usually I always prefer the subtitles, but for the one exception, I would say the dubbed one is okay. Subtitles are okay, it's possible, but the dubbed one, I think they did a good job. It's a fairy tale. That fairy tale is the primal scream, right? So the woman with the thorn, the metaphor was she had the thorn in the back. Okay, she went back to that imprint. She could relive and really scream out, whereas before she couldn't scream because she didn't have oxygen. So when little Kirikou lifted the thorn from the back, again, all of the characters are one mind. They're not separate characters, not like an outer story. It's all a metaphor for inwardly. So inwardly, if we can get to that point of the thorn in the back, right, and lift that thorn and have that kind of release, the locomotor breathing, he calls it, the locomotor breathing, and she was screaming and all this. Then she was relieved. You could see her physiology, her facial muscles relaxed. She was calm. She walked more smoothly. She had a ready smile for everybody, warm, easygoing kind of person. You could see the whole physiology of her changed, right? So that's a clue that the primal took place, the primal healing took place. Okay, here's another one about the symbol one. One can say to a client, "You're acting like your girlfriend is your mother. You're demanding so much of her." He may say, "Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, you're right." Well, he must feel the original need, not deny it, because he has been found to be immature. His need was a matter of survival. He will act that out. He will act out that need on anybody who gets close to him. So the insight or the awareness, oh gee, really? Maybe it helps, maybe it doesn't, but in the next relationship we'll try again. It's the repetition compulsion to replay the past and the present with the compulsion to change the past. So the insight, or he calls it awareness. Okay, another clarifying point here. All throughout here, we've been saying intellectual insight or cognitive insight as step A. Leave it alone, it may lead to emotional knowing. Okay, in Janoff's language, he says the intellectual insight or the cognitive knowing is just basic awareness without feeling. If you can get awareness with feeling, that he calls consciousness, which I've been calling emotional knowing. So when Janoff says consciousness, I've been using all along emotional knowing. I forgot when that started, but emotional knowing. So they're synonymous. Emotional knowing is the same as Janoff's use of the word consciousness, and cognitive insight is the same as Janoff's use of the word general awareness. Oh, I'm aware, okay, but are you conscious? Meaning, do you emotionally know? So consciousness has the fuller integration. Back to that quote from the two authors of that book, Gerald Elderman and Giulio Tononi, in their book, A Universe of Kant, that one there, TQ 2753, that one there. In trying to get, how is it? Is this 4 hours? Okay, let's hang on. In trying to get rid of the pain, we are sometimes forced into behaviors that ruin our lives. All she was trying to do was quell the pain of her little needy self, her wounded inner child of the past. trying for fulfillment, but because it is symbolic, it may take a destructive turn, such as alcoholism or emotional eating, etc. Trying to dissuade a client from her behavior is moralism parading as therapy. Now, the compulsive part of it is, compulsive behavior is the logical denouncement of historical events. No, it didn't happen. No, it didn't happen. Right? If you're compulsively doing something dysfunctional, you're trying to say to yourself, no, the past didn't happen. No, the past didn't happen. No, my mother didn't. No, my mother didn't traumatize me. No, my mother didn't traumatize me. The compulsive, obsessive aspect of acting out is largely driven by pre-verbal traumas. Okay, limbic forces have everything to do with survival. Pre-verbal trauma, limbic force, survival. Ideas are never a match for the strength of the brain stem. We are victims of our history. History never goes away. In no other field would we imagine that history doesn't exist. Could we imagine a lack of history when it comes to personal healing? Pretty obvious, but he says that cognitive therapy is, oh, that's past, forget it. Just fix your beliefs now, change your thoughts now. CBT. Okay, you're denying the past. You're denying that imprint in your brainstem. Deep in your survival brain, there's a deep belief. It's unloved, unloved. Really, you think your cognitive can correct that? You got to integrate. You got to bridge it. So just as in any field of study, like you study, right? Like you study, you study clocks. How do we make clocks? Well, maybe we study the history of clocks. Well, who invented the clock? What's the mechanism? We learn, we take classes on how to make, so that implies history. You're not going to learn how to make a clock if you don't include the history of the knowledge behind it. What about personal healing? Same thing. Pain will always remain pain, no matter what label we pin on it or how we choose to deny it. Whether we feel ignored or humiliated or unloved, the pain is the same and processed by the same structures. The frontal cortex gives it different labels and we act out differently, but the centers of hurt treat them the same. So whether the imprint is that the baby was unloved or unseen or ignored or abandoned, it all leads to the pain. Doesn't matter the symptomatic, symbolic representation of that pain, it traces back to the pain of being unloved, to not getting the secure attachment styles need. Okay, that's not a key one. All right, next one. We may have an awareness of an early trauma. It is the suffering component that remains unconscious on the right brain. It is that part that wants to inform the left frontal area. Yeah, that's what we said before, right? The right brain says to the left brain, hey, left brain, help me. The brain is so good at disguising its pain that most of us don't even know we have it. Even if we do, we don't know where it comes from. We may seem to be making a very good adjustment, yet the pain is bubbling below, waiting for a chance to make us ill. Yeah, that's why people at 50 or 60 suddenly get a physical problem or a physical issue or something. It was bubbling below all along, they just ignored it. Preverbal pains are sequestered, a vague sense of discomfort and malaise. The suffering part saying, can't I come in from the cold and join you? Left brain says, sorry, I can't tolerate all that you've got to say. Let's wait for a better day. Well, that better day is when maybe we're older, past midlife, after the age of 40, when the critical period is long gone and we are able to tolerate the previously unacceptable. As adults, maybe now we have a stable environment, mortgages paid, whatever, are no longer dependent on neurotic parents. That's a key one, right? At midlife, you're no longer dependent on your neurotic parents, right? So that joke about your mother knows how to push your buttons because, hey, she sewed them on. Okay, at midlife, okay, she can't push your buttons, basically. That's the idea. Usually, because the time has passed, things are a little better now. Maybe you have a family, you got a house, you're living in a different city. So you're past that critical, long gone kind of thing. So these are elements which maybe allow you to face your childhood finally. So that's sort of the midlife audit. At midlife, we're trying to go back and reconnect with ourselves, find ourselves. We lost ourselves. At midlife, we go back to get back ourselves. Quote, I remember feeling my need to become a therapist and be helpful, trying symbolically to help my mother to get well and be a real mother. So Janov says this openly, that the reason he became, or he got interested in psychology, study of the soul, how do we heal the soul, it's because his mother was distressed. He wanted to save her. That's the prototype. And in a way, I can kind of feel that spirit to a degree in all of his writing. He's trying to save humanity, us, i.e. the mother. Right? So if he's trying to save everybody, sometimes he makes comments to that effect. I want to save everybody. Well, that's a generalization of him trying to save the mother. And we have, in the New York Times, the journalist who wrote about him when he passed away, Margalit, what's her name again? Margaret or Margalit Fox, what's her name again? He quoted, if you want a good sort of summary of him, go to New York Times. Janov passes away at the age of 93, and there's a little write-up about him. Where is it? Hang on. Oh, here, okay. Sorry, here we go. Yeah, quote, my mother had a history of psychological analysis. Dr. Janov told the Chicago Tribune in 1983. He was drawn to the field, he said, quote, to try to cure my mother, you see, so she'd take care of me. I remember feeling my need to become a therapist and be helpful, trying symbolically to help my mother to get well and be a real mother. That's the prototype. So that's sort of a basic thing in the beginning. All babies want to save the mother. So a lot of babies want a good mother. They think, oh, mother, you're not loving me? Everything's love or a cry for love. Mother, you're not loving me? You're crying for love? I'll save you. I'll correct you. I'll heal you. I got magical thinking. I'm a little God. I'll save you. Plus, I need a loving mother so I can get my needs met. So I want to save you. Plus, I can save you. Plus, you're crying for love. I need a loving mother. I'll save you. That's like the prototype. Now, if trauma's too much before 18 months, they give up on that. They just want to hurt others to replay how the mother hurt them. So they're bitter and vindictive and all this. So then you get the stinger personality patterns. If the child can hold on to his soul post 18 months, he may be still in that mode of trying to please the caretakers, the helpers, still trying to save everybody's. Right? Oh yeah, there's that generalized one. How can the frontal cortex take, quote, love me, mother, I feel so unloved, and twist it into, they don't like me. They've got something against me. The they in his head really is mother who doesn't like him. It is so painful that it is generalized as they. Okay, towards healing, we may get to the point of this. You can now have a myriad of behavioral options. Okay, loving life. Every neurotic is a music enthusiast, but he only has one record. Well, you can now have a myriad of behavioral options. You can love all kinds of songs. You no longer have to keep repeating the imprint symbolically ad infinitum. Okay, again, every neurotic is a music enthusiast, but he only has one record. He carries this record with him everywhere he goes. Every time he sees a turntable with never-ending fiery ardor, ad infinitum, he spins off that tune. For example, you no longer have to drink alcohol to feel the warmth that mother should have given you. Meaning resides in feeling. Meaning resides in feeling. I feel, therefore I am. If you have your feelings, you have your amness. If you have your I feel, therefore I amness, you know your uniqueness, which you express. Joy runs the console. That's meaning. That's loving life. That's a path with heart. Joy isn't, quote, out there. The bluebird of happiness, says Shirley Temple, the bluebird of happiness, joy isn't out there. It's in here. Expressing, being aware of your uniqueness, which you express. That's an inside job. It's inside out. It's inside out. Joy is an inside out thing. Joy isn't out there, it's in here. Emotional intelligence allows our feelings to guide us toward a sane, intelligent life, not one filled with broken loves, driven by compulsions and the inability to relax. Okay, let's wind this video down here. It's going to get dark here anyways, right? Yeah, so what you just heard here is take 2. Unfortunately, my first take, the fun one, is lost. So this was take 2 of part 10 of 10, TQ 2764 of Janoff's material. And originally I thought it was going to be just 10 of 10 videos, but I found some more quotes, so there'll be it'll continue. Let's just say for the time being, this is 10 of 12 now. Tomorrow we'll do the next one. Tomorrow we'll do 11, part 11. Yeah. So hope you'll check in tomorrow we'll talk about oxytocin a little bit, and just sort of continue the types of quotes that we've been doing. Yeah, the frontal cortex acts continuously to prevent unconscious material from becoming conscious. Oh, why does a past need or feeling generalize to the present? Because it was not fully felt specifically. If a young child could have felt, I'll never be loved by my mother, then he wouldn't have covered over the hurt and tried unconsciously to get mother love out of teachers, for example. The child would have felt a specific deprivation, something between him and his mother. Because the child cannot face and feel that he is unloved or disliked, he does what he can to fulfill the needs vicariously. The need drives him to get love where he can, thus his behavior generalizes to others. Similarly, if he's angry at his mother, he may generalize and be angry at everyone. These outlets are neurotic because they are symbolic of the original situation. Repetition compulsion is symbolic because it is repetition compulsion is neurotic because it is symbolic of the original situation. So the original situation, mother shamed the baby. Baby was passive, helpless, passive, shamed. The mother was the active aggressor. She was the shamer. Original situation. In the stinger personality patterns, trauma before 18 months, they play the shaming mother, find others to play their shamed self. That's neurotic. You're still replaying it, but in the stingers, they play the mother, others can play you, kind of thing. The clingers, the pleasers, they do a more benign thing. They play themselves and expect others to reject them. Both ways are neurotic. They're both symbolic of the original situation. Yeah, for example, the fame seeker, he can have 1 million people listening to him or her giving his lectures. It doesn't change the imprint. No altering or satisfaction of symbolic behavior alters the neurotic situation. A person who had a need to be listened to by parents, too flighty or too preoccupied to do so, may later lecture to thousands who sit and listen attentively And yet, this need to be listened to will not change one iota. It doesn't change the past. It will change only when the reality of feeling how he needed his parents' attention is experienced, together with the pain of how little attention he received from them. Yeah. Yeah. My sincere hope, now that we've done 10 videos, my sincere hope is that you'll find that one may find 10 excellent quotes that they can write. So if you find a quote that's interesting, write it down, handwrite it down in your notebook, pause and say to yourself, what does this quote remind me of? John A. Sanford might suggest, read the quote that you find interesting and maybe say, oh no, after you ask yourself, what does this quote remind you of? And if you get some associations, then you say, it's like this in my soul today. So now you're connecting with yourself. You're trying to connect with yourself. We're looking for ourselves. You got to connect with yourselves. That kind of thing. Well, when you wake up in the morning and had a dream, okay, in your notebook, see if you can make notes about the dream. TTAQ, title, theme, affect, question. Can you give the dream a title? Identify the theme, maybe the main affect, and maybe a question that your unconscious self is asking you. Title, theme, affect, question. Maybe write some of it down, that kind of thing. And then say to yourself, it's like this in my soul today. That dream you got, it's a communication from you to you. Hermes is flying across with a message. You got a letter from Poseidon. Don't you want to read it? If you got a letter from a god, don't you? Like a metaphor for a personification of your unconscious forces. Could be Poseidon or some kind of powerful character, and he delivers the message to you through the messenger Hermes. Okay, or a bird flies across with a message. It's like this in your soul today. It's like this in my soul today. And then you take that dream thing that you wrote down and say to yourself, what does this remind me of? What does this remind me of? And see if you can make a couple of notes. This is reconnect. This is refining yourself. Every finding is a refinding, somebody said, right? Okay, let's wrap this up here. It's going to get dark here anyways. Well, hopefully this will upload. Jeepers. Yikes, if this doesn't upload, oh my god, I have to buy a new phone or something. I'm kind of fond of this phone. This was the shop was gonna throw these phones away. They were like outdated or too old or something, and they were very affordable. Well, if it works, I'll use it. I've been using it for years. The problem is storage has always been an issue, but it's worked okay. The audio on this phone has always been very good. Excellent little phone. Oh, okay. I thought the cleaners wanted to come in or something. Yeah, so all of these quotes so far come from Janoff's books. Primal Healing, Prisoners of Pain. That's a spin-off of Alice Miller's book called Prisoners of Childhood. He borrowed that to call it Prisoners of Pain, Prisoners of the Imprint. Another book called Imprints, another one called The Feeling Child. A couple from a book called The Biology of Love. Yeah, he kind of loses me on that book, that one there a little bit. That's too technical for me, that one. And the one called Beyond Belief, his last book. That's the one about the cults and all this. Anybody involved in kind of beliefs, if anyone believes some charlatan, a used car salesman type on a TV screen, read that book, Beyond Beliefs, by Janoff. Is that it? Feeling Child, Imprints, Prisoners of Pain. Okay, Primal Healing, Biology of Love, Beyond Belief, yeah. Some of his books are hard to find, very expensive. Jesus. Now, one of his books is completely unavailable, like zilch. I couldn't. The Janoff Solution. That one. And that one called Life Before Birth, his second last book, written in his 80s, that's very expensive. Jesus, that's over $100 for that one. Jesus Christ. I'm kind of surprised that one of the top psychologists of our time struggled to get his books published. He had to self-publish them. And some of those self-publishing companies have gone bankrupt. There are complications around finding copies of his books. Not all of his books have been digitized as well. I had a very hard time finding that Beyond Belief book. But that's an interesting one. All of these quotes regarding beliefs come from that one, mainly. Geez, I wish I could play our theme song. Oh my God. Oh my God, I could play it here if I had my laptop. Our theme song to 1001, Windmills of the Mind, is Katja Epstein's German cover. She's a German singer, pop singer from Germany. She does a German cover, an excellent German cover. She sings it, in German, of Windmills of the Mind. It opens up with the horns, the brass section. What a great song. That's our theme song. To tell you the truth, this whole collection is named because of that theme song. A good English cover is the one done by Barbara Lewis. That's my favorite English cover of it, Barbara Lewis. A distant third, like a way, way distant third, would be Jose Feliciano. That's tolerable. But really, the only two singers of that song are Katja Epstein and Barbara Lewis. But Barbara Lewis, you can hear the English lyrics clearly. Down a tunnel, down a cavern where the light has never shone. The pain was traumatized. The baby was traumatized before he saw the light of day, Janoff says. Maybe, should we go for a walk or something? Almost 6 o'clock. It's gonna get busier around here, yeah. Yeah, we gotta connect the two brains, the right brain, the left brain. The more we connect with our unconscious, the more conscious we become. Yeah, here's a good one, yeah. The more we connect with our unconscious, the more conscious we become. That's what we're trying to do here, right here. The more we connect with our unconscious. Okay, so you wake up, like the dream, for example. It's like this in my soul today. What does this dream remind me of? Okay, the more conscious we become. Okay, maybe on that note, I'll close it up here. I'll see you in part 11. Thanks very much. I'll see you in part 11 of the work of Arthur Janoff. And I'm trying my best to maybe somehow include or synthesize into our body of material of 1001, Windmills of the Mind. You know, Janoff's approach is kind of almost sequestered in its own little world kind of thing. I want to kind of bring it in to our main collection here. I think it can contribute to the body of work we have here. But I don't think Janoff's ideas is enough. I don't fully buy somebody cannot be conscious and do this kind of thing. They'll freak out and shut down. It's not going to work. Right? Luckily, he doesn't push people beyond their ability. So that's the honorable side of him. He doesn't require anyone to bypass their defense if they're not ready to let it go. It's got to be a gentle thing. It'll happen naturally when the person's ready to feel it. And he wants to feel it, he just wants to feel safe to do it. He doesn't force people to bypass it. So that's sort of the good thing about his thing here. And I guess we should give credit to the celebrities who made him famous. So he was popular in the 70s, and then suddenly his name no one heard of it. Like, I also had a negative impression and didn't pay any attention to this material until recently, until I heard that interview on Radio Curious when he talked about it. Oh, okay, no, this guy's he's not totally floozy or like. Whenever you hear somebody talking about healing, you always have a question mark, right? Because we've been fooled so many times by the endless used car salesman. Because in the 70s, it was a big gold rush of making money. Just tell people you know how to heal them and they'll come flocking and send you money. the televangelist says, oh yeah, send me money and you'll get a ticket in heaven or something. And the guy made billions of dollars. Crazy, right? His dog got 100,000. Yeah, he was so wealthy. He had mansions and mansions all over the world and all this, like massive, not just big houses, like full-on mansions, this guy. And his wife wanted a new dog house. He just, oh, here's 100 grand, knock yourself out. And she built him like maybe like a room like this. Like an executive business, an executive 5-star business room. She created for their little puppy or something. All he was doing was selling hope. Hope triggers endorphins in the brain. So he was the hope of dope. Janoff calls these guys the merchants of hope, the hope of dope, the merchants of that. He means it that way. And in that last book, Beyond Belief, he listed, dozens of these famous cult people and all the tricks they used. And the followers of them, their hunger to get endorphins, to believe the nonsense, that's the pain of it. So they distort perceptual reality, and they want to believe the lie because the lie gives them the hope, and the hope is the dope of the endorphins. So beliefs can trigger endorphins in the brain, kind of like the same way cookies can release serotonin in the brain. That's one of his points. In the next video, I have another question mark about his thing. He says, I heard Loretta Bruning say this actually, that part of the reason humans develop the cortex, like this is out of my zone here. I don't remember. I only have a BA in my disclaimer. 50%. Oh, by the way, 50%, 50, not 30, 50, half of what you heard in this video is wrong. It's up to you, dear listener, or reader or viewer, to figure out which 50% is wrong. Which 50% is wrong? You figure it out. In the next video, here's a quote coming up in part 11. That part of the reason humans develop this thinking cap cortex is to numb the pain. So this is a provocative thought because, let me pour it back here. Hold on a second. Let's stand up for a second. Yeah, these aren't the greatest chairs, eh? If you're going to have a business meeting, why do you want people in pain? You better back them. Yeah, here's a... so there's a huge question mark. Maybe others are familiar with this. I don't know. It's new for me. Loretta Bruning mentioned this point, that if the gazelle, let's say the gazelle is running in the field, in the jungle or whatever, and the lion manages to take a bite out of him or something, and the poor gazelle is bleeding. Now, the gazelle's brain will send him numbing so he can keep on running to increase his chances of survival, right? So he'll keep running. So he gets the pain numb. He's in pain, but he's numbed. So he keeps running, and maybe he escapes and he survives. It worked. So in the mammal, this mechanism takes place. That's what they're saying. I don't know if it's true or not, or if it applies, or how it applies, or in what cases this is. If it's a proper application of it, or if we're understanding it correctly, I don't know. But as I just question mark. So the gazelle's running, trying to escape from the lion. The lion gets pretty close and bites him somehow, but the gazelle can still run. Now, if the gazelle felt that bite, he may be a goner, right? But his brain, the gazelle's brain, sent him endorphins. Don't feel it. Don't feel it. You can't feel this. You can't accept this feeling. You better keep going for your survival. You got to keep going for your survival, right? And maybe it did work. Maybe the gazelle did escape. So it helped. It was like a survival thing, right? So Janoff was saying, I don't know if I fully clearly understood it, but something in that area where humans, when we traumatize ourselves accidentally, right? When we traumatize ourselves accidentally due to the mismanagement. Now, remember, dinosaurs are gone and saber-tooth tigers. That's a long time ago, right? and men have ways to protect themselves from these dangerous animals. That's a long time ago, right? But anyways, but we still have the mammal brain, right? We still have this phenomena that when there's pain, we get endorphins. We still have this mechanism, pain, endorphins, cookies, endorphins, belief in the magic thing and it's going to save you, endorphins, whatever. We still have this kind of a mechanism. So are we still creating these beliefs in the same kind of attitude that the gazelle is in? Are we still kind of in that kind of mode? And why would that take place? I thought, what the hell? So maybe when we became traumatized versions of ourselves 10,000 years ago due to the mismanagement of our discoveries, which gave us all the serotonin, safety, okay, a boost, and then it dissipates a few minutes later. You feel stress before you were safe. Dopamine for the chase, get more. Now we're in this loop. And then we traumatize the babies to perpetuate this loop. Now we went into pillage mode. Okay, and the prejudiced personality is needed. Babies are traumatized to create the repetition compulsion, to give them poverty, to give others poverty. And now poverty creates the pillage and the plunder. So now we traumatize ourselves. We traumatize ourselves, put ourselves in pain, then we get the endorphins. Others are in pain and they're getting endorphins, and we're all walking around pretty much like that wounded gazelle running from the tiger, but there are no tigers. So we created something like that, right? It's an accident. It's an accident. We evoked, number one, we freaked out when we got all this farming and agriculture. It gave us all this surplus food, made us feel safe. Safety means serotonin. Whoosh, felt serotonin. That only lasts for a short time. When it dissipates, remember that serotonin is over and above the normal baseline of mother's love. And we had mother's love, so we had the normal serotonin. But we won the lottery, basically, right? So maybe, let's say today, everybody won $1 trillion. It'd be like this huge burst of safety and excitement, and then it'd be this kind of panic kind of thing, right? Maybe there was something similar that took place 10,000 years ago, ballpark. And then, yeah, so when we got the surplus serotonin, oh, hold on. I want to make sure this is under 4 hours to increase the chance of this getting uploaded. I don't want to repeat what happened last time. Last time was almost 5 hours. I thought maybe that was the issue. Yeah, I wonder if there's any kind of a... Does it tell me... Hang on a sec. Does this tell me how much space I'm using? No, it doesn't. Hey, hang on. Does this tell me... No, there's no way to know the gigabytes, huh? Okay, I think 4 hours is the limit. Yeah. 4 hours. I will shut this down within 10 minutes, yeah. So, yeah, don't want to distract them. Yeah, I kind of like this. Reminds me of the hand drum. Reminds me of the hand drum, you know. Robbie Romero. Look up Robbie Romero. His song called Heartbeat. You can see him beating the drum, hand drum. Good song. Yeah, great song. It's on our soundtrack. Robbie Romero. His song called Heartbeat. Yeah. There's all right. So. Right, dopamine for the chase, serotonin from the catch. Dopamine for the chase, serotonin from the catch. So, dopamine is exciting, it's thrilling, okay, it's jocose. It's exciting because you're in anticipation that when you get the thing that you're chasing, it'll give you safety and you'll get the soothing serotonin, I'm safe. So you're excited to get the safety kind of thing. So when we got the discovery, we got the serotonin, it dissipates. By comparison, I don't feel safe anymore. Less safety means stress, dopamine, chase, get more. How do we get more? Okay, now in the panic, somebody got the idea, well, let's traumatize the babies, remove them from the mother. I did it. That's when it started. Babies were never removed from their mothers prior to that, as I understand it. We can all live like nomads, or I nomad at you and you nomad at me. Babies, the normal temperament was easygoing, friendly, affectionate. Somebody joked, were we like the bonobos? Because we used to be homo bodoensis before that. So we had a friendly, warm kind of a temperament. The worst anything got, they said, was jealousy, but that's not related to your identity, so there was no envy. There was no envy. Jealousy is not too bad. You can deal with jealousy. Envy is the issue, right? Envy is much worse than jealousy. Jealousy is not too bad. It's envy. Envy is your identity. And if the mother's so blind to the baby's goodness, he identifies with the envy breast. To have the mother, he's got to hate goodness in general because mother hated his goodness. So to have a mother, he's got to hate goodness. So he's got envy now. That keeps him safe with the mother who hated his goodness. Okay, so 10,000 years ago, boost, discovery, serotonin, dissipates, chase, pillage, plunder. Now that activity causes pain. Now we're homo traumacus. When there's trauma, there's endorphins. So we created in ourselves a regression to the place of the poor gazelle running from the lion, but there are no lions. So that quote's coming up tomorrow. And see, and then the left brain is created to keep giving us endorphins through beliefs. Eat these cookies, you'll get endorphins. Believe in such and such, you'll get endorphins. So the left brain, part of the left brain's duty is to keep on sending us endorphins. Yes, a part of it, when we're healthy, is to be reasonable and invent things and do things healthily. Yeah? And if you have your feelings, now it's in cooperation. If you have your feelings, that's normal. Okay, the three brains are lined up. You have your personal embodiment in your behavior, and you're expressing your interests, and that's pleasure and loving life. That's the natural state. But a lot of people are traumatized. So we're creating this phenomena where we're sleepwalking through life, going through the motions life, in a trance, thinking that, recreating that phenomena of the poor gazelle. So that's a huge question mark, that point there. I'm just riffing, I'm just experimenting. Okay, 345, 346. Oh, some kind of a, not sure what that is. Okay, yeah, it's getting busier here, yeah. I guess the dinner rush is gonna come in. Okay, good time to leave. It's getting dark anyways. So where's a good spot to close up the video? What about the hand drum? Okay, so there's this innate drive for healing. We're trying to heal. In nature, when something's wounded, we're trying to heal. So we're trying to heal. So on that spirit, let's see if we can continue to raise consciousness, even though Janov says that what I'm calling here consciousness, he would call simple awareness without feeling. Yes, I agree. These 10,000 quotes are awareness without feeling, pretty much. But maybe it's the necessary needed first step, part A, to get the feeling. Like I'm going on the premise that we need these constructs, these theories, these approximations, these models, object relations theory, developmental theory. It's like it's helping us to kind of understand ourselves to some degree, and then with that level of safety and level of identity, then feelings can come up on their own, kind of thing. So I'm sticking on the basic thing. I'm not swapping over to Janov's side. I don't fully, unless I experienced it. And here's the big question mark. If Janov was legit and hundreds of people really did relive their trauma and had that new physiology, did the locomotor breathing, and suddenly had their physiology like the Kala, what's her name? Kala in that animated French animated film, Kirikou, little Kirikou and the sorceress. The sorceress's name was it Kala something, Kalaba or something. If it's true that Janov created what we saw in that Kalaba character, then my God, there really needs to be greater research and effort to formulate and systemize this process, and and we can heal ourselves. It makes sense. If we heal ourselves, it makes sense. We don't need to plunder the planet because to make a quick buck due to envy, because Mother hated our goodness. We got to hate the goodness on the planet. We're not making sense. This is dysfunctional. So we can heal the 48 symptoms of Homo traumicus if Janoff is correct. I don't know. In the meantime, a wealth of interesting material. I feel kind of excited by some of his quotes. What are we doing now? Okay, less than 10 minutes. Any final thoughts here? Well, it's getting busier here. Well, that's good. The guards all saw me. None of them kicked me out. Okay, I'll take that as a good sign. Maybe they're apologetic. Maybe they're a little bit apologetic. Last time they were a little a little over the top, I thought. And then I thought, no, they're doing their job. They gotta. Oh yeah, I forgot one quote about the video games. Oh, we forgot one. There's one last quote here about the video games. Oh yeah. Where's that one here? Where's the video? Yeah, okay, we don't have a thread on the video games. But Janoff said this. Okay, the child was addicted to video games. Why? Because he felt like the father didn't want him and felt like a loser to his father. But when he plays video games, he can feel like a winner. Quote, "I'm not a failure, Daddy. Say I'm good just once, will you?" So it's symbolic. So he's playing the video games, symbolically chasing for Daddy to say he's a winner. He's not a failure. But in reality, his father rejected him. The father had the Elias complex, because when his father was a baby himself, the mother rejected him. He grew up, had a son, rejected his son. He had the Elias complex. Now that son, okay, the one whose father has the Elias complex, i.e. his father rejected him, he felt like a failure with him. "I'm not a failure, Daddy. Say I'm good just once." So he would play video games in order to feel like a winner. Now, once he accepted the feeling, truly accepted the feeling, then he stopped playing these symbolic, obnoxious games. Yeah. So once you feel, you can stop acting out. Acting out is just neurotic and symbolic. If you feel, you can stop acting out. Yeah, and plus there's the whole dopamine thing, right? The dopamine, you're chasing, get a point, status, you win, oh, you're a winner. But in the home, they felt like a loser by the father. But when they play video games, they can feel like a winner. It's incomplete, it's very partial, that one. I'm not focusing too much on this. We don't have a thread on video games. There probably should be one. We don't have a thread on alcoholism, although we do have a few quotes. But we do have a thread on emotional eating. Roger Gould is sort of the lead on that one. Miriam Woodman a little bit as well, and others. All right, let's wrap it up here. Thanks very much. I'll see you in part 11. We'll continue posting quotes by Arthur Janoff. Yeah, died at the age of 93. Wrote, I think, 15 or 16 books, something like that. And a household name in the 70s due to all the famous pop stars endorsing him and all this. And I once had a fantasy that Bruce Springsteen would tell his fans, everybody, 1001 Windmills of the Mind. I read it every day for 10 minutes. It's good stuff. You guys got to get it. www.buymeacoffee.com/psychoanalysis. Get yourself a copy of 1001 Windmills of the Mind. Thank you, Bruce Springsteen. So I feel like, yeah, it would be nice to have somebody discover this. There's nothing like it out there. 10,000 advanced self-help quotes taken from the psychoanalytic perspective. There's nothing out there like it. The closest approximate thing to it is Gregory Bauer's book called Wit and Wisdom in Dynamic Psychotherapy, done several decades ago. But if you take, but he's got a lot of Freud quote, the convoluted English translation of Freud. If you take those out, you've only got like a tiny sample of what we have here. Plus, I've already plucked out the few good quotes from that collection into our collection, anyways. And that's an older book as well. Most of the quotes are sort of, you know, within the past several decades, post his book. So, and we've got quotes from rare books, you know, books that haven't been digitized. A lot of quotes, you know, Masterson, James F. Masterson, James Grotstein, Thomas Ogden, William Fairbairn, David Solani, Rinsley, Althea Horner. Jeez. We've got a lot of excellent analytic authors. Most of the quotes are by shrinks, medical doctors. Most of the quotes are by the medical doctors that later on specialized in the talking cure, right? I'm not talking about the drug, the medical pharmacy. I'm talking about the talking cure doctors. Okay, let's wrap it up. Yeah, 5 minutes left here. Okay, so let's do some more talking in the next video. Although this video isn't as humorous as the last one, quite the opposite almost, I still hope something has been of interest. I tried to cover as much as material as we can here. Another thing about this, normally in each video you can read sort of a batch of quotes and they're kind of contained in a way. They're all on a theme. There's a little variety there. It's pretty solid. But here with Janov, because I'm a little scattered with him, so to appreciate his quotes, you got to pluck out the whole 10 videos worth. So don't just read like within one. Pluck out the 100 plus pluck out the total 120 plus quotes from the 10 videos and read them like together. That's sort of a little bit of a difference with the previous material. Okay, let's see if this uploads. Hopefully you'll see this. Hopefully this will be available. One way or another, I'm going to post these quotes, even if it's just with a little statement of some kind. I think they're all good quotes. I think in every video there's at least that first one, 45, I found 3 very strong quotes in there. Oh, what about today? Hang on. Yeah, I think my favorite, the first one. This first one here is the key one here. We react now as we should have back then. There is obviously plenty of oxygen in the therapy room, right? So we can now do that living. We couldn't back then because there was no oxygen in the birth canal and the mother clenched up. We couldn't breathe back then. We'd go there, but hey, wait a minute. We're conscious. We've got the left brain. We got the reality of oxygen in the room. Okay, now let's live it now. We couldn't back then. Let's go back and do it now, kind of thing. This quote was I feel like today that first one I feel like was a key one here. The last one is good too. Yeah, joy isn't out. The bluebird of happiness or joy is inside. I like that one. Yeah, this one here. You no longer have to drink alcohol. You no longer have to eat cookies to feel the sweetness that mother should have given you. And the they, oh, this is a key one. Yeah, the they one. I think this is a key one too. Yeah, so 1, 2, 3. I think 3 and 4. For me, I feel like there are 4 good quotes in this video. For me personally. Okay, I'm pushing it, aren't I? 358. Okay, let's just wrap it up here. Once again, thanks very much. I'll see you in the next video. maybe the song Locomotion would be a good closing song here. Let's do the Locomotion. Janov says if you can get to that place, your breathing is, he calls it, oh, you're doing the locomotor breathing. You're really doing the breathing that you needed back then. You're getting the oxygen that you needed. The locomotion breathing. Other than that, yeah, Ziana Zain has we have some great songs by the singer Ziana Zain on our soundtrack. A great singer. Devrim Kaya as well, a great singer from Turkey. We got a lot of great songs on our soundtrack. Okay, I'll see you in the next video. I've got no final humorous thing to say in the last 10 seconds here. What's 5Q plus 5Q? You're welcome.